so many bad buttons. Just background, man. It's crazy to say, bro. So फैन की बैकग्राउंड नॉइज काफी आ रही है. Oh, fan. You guys can still hear the fan? Can you see me now?
Can still not see you.
भाई ये क्या हो रहा है?
Turn off your video and turn it on again.
भाई मैं बंद करके बंद चालू बंद. Okay, I've turned it off and turned it on. Bro, I'm gonna ask, bro. Are you sure? Like, is this like an Android phone?
It is an Android phone.
Acha. So I don't know how this is possible then. But I can what I can do because what I can do is like once the live ends, I can send over the live to you. But like I'm not sure how this works.
Like I was able to see your face.
Acha, you were able to see me.
You let me join the video and now it's like blank.
एक
You
बार
can take a
check.
screenshot and send it to you.
I would suggest. Do you have another phone, one instance, which you can use? Because you
Yeah,
have
I
a phone which
have
you
the
were
phone.
typing in, right? Maybe use that.
Okay.
Yeah. Bro, TNF gotta join this, bro. Uska face, guys, no insults, please. Guys, no insults. Okay? No insults. अरे बाल करवाओ टेंशन मत ले लड़के. She got plants in the background. That's not. She need extra phone for GPT. You messed her up her plan. Whatever. I don't care. Hi, Abhishek. How are you, man? Abhishek bhai, dude. Uh, uh, Abhishek bhai is a betrayal, bro. Is a betrayer. You know why? It's the live. I don't think she had it. Abhishek bhai is a betrayer. You know why? Because he was like he'll come to Goa with me, and then this he was like last minute. He was like, guys, I'm sorry, I cannot delete your hinge, bro. I am not deleting my hinge. Abhishek bhai is like Abhishek bhai is betraying, bro. He's betraying me
Yeah,
like
I can
crazy,
see you.
bro.
Can you hear
Bro,
me?
मैं तो full plan. Yes, finally.
Okay.
Can you
And the
see me?
audio quality is good because this phone is really old. So.
सब सही है भाई, सब सही है, टेंशन मत लो.
Okay, perfect.
Everything. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
पंखे
hear
की
you.
आवाज आ रही है क्या? मैं पंखे भी बंद कर देता हूँ.
नहीं आ रही है. It's fine.
All right. All right. So, guys, we have Shana here. We have debate, I think. So that's what we are gonna be doing. Right. So, tell me, Shana, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm really good.
Great. Gym गए थे क्या आज?
Huh. Morning.
Great. Okay. So, tell me one thing. What is the whole? I'm not kidding, bro. मैं भूल गया debate किसके बारे में.
Let's do it on the recent video. पहले, then we can touch other topics.
Bro, you're cutting out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. क्या बोल रहे हो?
Let's do it on the recent video, and then we can jump
Okay.
onto the other topics.
Okay, sure. So, tell me exactly like what's the whole topic about and like what's the whole
Yeah. So
scenario like.
basically, I said that if you're doing lateral raises, you can switch the equipment. You can do 3 months with cable, and then you can do 3 months with dumbbells.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
One more thing
then
before I can you see me?
I can see you. Yeah,
Can you hear me?
it's blurry
Yeah.
and it's
Before you go ahead and like yeah, I have a notepad where I have like cited down every study. So I'm not using
that's
anything.
good.
I'll even
Okay.
Wi-Fi भी बंद है उसका, ठीक है? ठीक है? So no AI is being used, just letting you know.
No problem,
Okay?
no problem. You can cite those studies. Just let me know which study you're citing so I can have a look
No,
if
yeah,
I
I have
feel like
everything.
having a
Yeah,
look.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
let's
So
go back to the
we can
topic.
cite
Yeah.
the studies later. Let's talk about the basic concepts and then we can cite the studies, whatever is supporting our arguments.
Okay. So
Okay.
what's your take exactly? So you said exactly that
Yeah.
do
So
lateral
basically
raises for
that
3 months.
video,
One week. Yeah.
yeah.
What's
So
the whole take
basically
about exactly?
the take was that first of all, if you switch resistance profile, you're going to get a new stimulation for your muscle. And I said in a very simplified language that just like beginners keep growing because they get newer stimulations, in the similar way, you can also, target better growth if you stimulate your muscle in different ways.
And what is the result? So when we come back to like exactly programming, what do you come back to like implying it exactly? So how do you imply this concept of what you have?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's a newer stimulation and it's going to stimulate the muscle in a different way. So you did watch that video, right?
Yeah, yeah, but I just need to.
Complete video?
So again, not we can.
You know
I
that video,
swear,
right? You know it.
yeah, I've
So
seen the video, but like
yeah, you've seen it,
I
right?
need to.
Probably.
Yeah, I've
It's
seen
a
it, but
40
मैंने
second
मेरे
video.
को पूरा याद नहीं है.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's a 40-second video. So wherever with
Okay, you
whatever
again.
word, sentence, concept you have a problem or you don't agree with me on my video, just let me know and I'll clarify that why do I think so.
Okay, so you want me to रुको फिर मेरे को वाईफाई चालू करना पड़ेगा. That's okay.
I
That's
thought
pretty
you've
cool,
seen my
right?
video, but it's completely fine. Yeah, you can do that.
Mm. Okay. So your take exactly is I'm not trying to watch the video right now. Is like we need to do 3 months of one exercise and then 3 months of some
No, we
other
are not
exercise.
switching the exercise, we're just switching the equipment to change the resistance profile.
We're changing the resistance
Slightly
profile.
alter
We're
the
not
resistance
switching the
profile.
exercise. So
How
how do
no,
you
like
plan
we are
on?
doing lateral raises. Like both of the exercise is lateral raises. One is cable lateral raise and another is dumbbell lateral raise. Targeting the same muscle, the movement is also same, abduction of our arm, but we are
So
changing the
you're
resistance.
saying that. So I think if I remember properly, in one of your video, like in the same video, which you said that I'm not sure if it's in the comment section which you said, or is it like in the video which you said that it will target different motor units of different muscle fibers.
It's not like
Am I correct?
target different motor units, but yeah, of course, different motor units will be loaded differently. And in dumbbell lateral raises, the same motor units were getting maximally loaded and obviously leading to failure. But some of the units were not like we don't, when we hit failure, not all of our muscle fibers are hitting failure, right? Some of them do, some of them don't. So that's why we change resistance profile so that we can target as many muscle fibers as possible to failure.
Okay. So let me just take that from what you said. You
Hmm.
said that, okay, so we have dumbbell lateral raises, then we have cable lateral raises. Obviously, the resistance profile for both of them is going to be different, is exactly what you're saying. And also, one more thing which you're saying here is that when we have two different exercises, they are gonna largely, because of the resistance profile variant, we might see a different region of growth. Am I taking that correctly?
It might lead to different, it might lead to regional hypertrophy in cases of other muscles since lateral deltoid is a fairly smaller muscle. But yeah,
Mm,
at a muscular level, it might. But yes, mostly it
mm.
can lead to a different level of regional hypertrophy, might not. But yeah, as a whole, if you see the muscle, it has many muscle fibers. This is going to be definitely happening
Okay.
that the same muscle fibers which were maximally loaded before
Mhm.
and some muscle fibers which were not maximally loaded and reaching failure. If we change the resistance profile, we can change the number of fibers, or we can change which fibers are maximally loaded and actually hitting failure. So that's the concept. Like when a muscle hits failure, we don't.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel you're onto something. And that's something which I've seen in a study as well. Exactly. And that is cable lateral raises and dumbbell lateral raises have different, I think, growth. We have one study as well where we see different growth as well. I think, if I remember correctly from the top of my head, there is distal growth and proximal growth difference between them, which is true, which is true.
Yeah, it can lead to regional
But
hypertrophy. Depends on
yeah,
the internal movement, arm, and a lot of factors. But yeah, it can lead to, as I said, it can lead to different regional hypertrophies.
okay.
Not in like everyone necessarily, but overall, yes.
Okay, so how much of a big impact are we seeing on a long-term basis here exactly? Right?
We,
Let's say one guy is doing like 3 month ये आपने जो बोला like dimble lateral raises, 3 month cable lateral raises, and like he's just repeating that for the 2 years straight. And there's one guy who just sticks to dumbbell or cable, whatever lateral raises for 2 years straight.
hmm.
Where where do we draw the line? Is this gonna create a significant impact on things?
Yeah, yes, it can create a significant impact. Because
Hmm.
see, first of all, you're hitting, like, see, for simplification, I'm just saying different fibers. Many fibers are getting activated, but not all of them are getting trained till failure. When we change the
Hmm.
resistance profile, that changes. So yes, you are now, by following both the exercises, you are now able to load more fibers up till failure. Okay, and that will make your muscle grow, of course,
Hmm.
and in like prolonged period of time, like 2 to 3 years,
Hmm.
the changes can be significant.
Okay. Is there any data which you can show me that there is gonna be six changes, which is gonna be like
See,
largely like if we talk
yeah,
about like p
see,
values, is it
if
gonna
I
be like
want, I
very
can go on
significant?
the internet and cite data and all of that. I can do. But do you
Mm.
think this concept is wrong? If we change resistance profile, are we hitting the same fibers? Are we maximally loading the same fibers? Like, because I can go on the internet, I can cite studies, I can show you studies. It doesn't take a lot of time. But let's talk
Yeah.
about the basic concepts, right? Of
Yeah.
hypertrophy,
But at
right?
the end of the day, what we are all trying to do, right? All of us are wanting one thing: big side delts. Everyone wants big side delts, right? मेरे को भी बड़े side delts चाहिए. You also want big side delts.
Yeah,
Everyone
I
wants
can
big
go
side
and
delts.
cite studies. Like it will hardly take me 5 minutes to cite any study on this. But
Right.
do
Yeah.
you agree with this concept?
At the end of the day, see, as you said, that there is gonna be hypertrophy, like more recruitment occurring at a different fiber level. We may see a differential level of activation on one certain particular exercise. Let's say dumbbell lateral raises or cable lateral raises. We might see a different level of activation here, specifically because, as you said, the resistance profile. If
Not
there's a
the like
different
the
resistance profile,
different
what we
level of
also have.
activation in different muscle fibers.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. You're right on that.
Yes.
Yeah. So we might see a preferential increment in activation on one particular region of muscle group. Again, Seidels has about 7 different regions of muscle groups. So the largely amount of activation which we might be able to see is going to be a lot different comparing in terms of like very granular fiber level.
It's not
Is that it?
granular. It's not granular. Actually, what's happening is, see, you're loading the
Mm,
same fibers again and again and again. Okay. So after a
mm,
few years, they will like the fiber increases in size. That is what we call hypertrophy. But the more it increases in size, the lesser the rate of the increment becomes, right? The more you reach your training potential, the lesser hypertrophy you experience in relation to time, right? Now,
Okay, so that's what we call time course of neuromuscular
yeah,
adaptation, exactly, right?
yes,
So
yes.
we have certain level of mechanisms which may cause increase in strength, right? So as you said that in your video which you said that we might see an increment in strength at a faster level in that
No, not
same
strength, not really strength. Strength will always keep
progress.
increasing, no matter the
So
resistance profile.
what are we
The
using
main motive
to
of, so see,
Mhm.
when you change the resistance profile, the motor unit recruitment changes slightly. Neural adaptation takes time. So here we are not trying to
So
increase strength, okay? Because increment in strength is different and hypertrophy training is different. The more you adapt to strength training, like powerlifting or something where strength is important, strength is your primary goal, not hypertrophy. The more you adapt to the movement, the better you become at it. In hypertrophy, it changes. The more you're getting adapted to something, the slower the hypertrophy progression becomes. So it has to change.
excuse me, Sunay, one second. So tell me one thing, right? So whenever we see an addition in myofibrils,
Hmm.
do we see an increment in strength?
That depends on your motor unit recruitment, but yeah.
Okay, so we have more myofibrils, more costomeres.
See,
Now we
just
have more
having more
ways to produce
myofibrils
more.
doesn't mean you will have more strength. Your motor unit recruitment has to increase with it, right? Suppose you're getting some roids and you're suddenly increasing your muscle mass. Definitely your strength will increase. But imagine another guy who has developed the same muscle mass training 2, 3 years of his life, and you have gained the same muscle mass 2, 3 months of your life, right? Giving. And that guy will have any day better
Yeah,
motor
have a
unit
look. So
recruitment
listen.
because he has trained more, right? So his strength will be better.
Okay. So we've agreed on one thing, that hypertrophy is fiber specific. Are we both on the same page on that?
Fiber specific as in.
And growth which occurs in muscles are fiber specific, motor unit specific, I would say. Is that correct? What I'm trying to say here, when a motor unit or like a
Your
muscle
voice is
activated,
breaking. Your voice is
it
breaking.
is
Can you repeat?
not. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Hello?
Let me just remove my charger.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Chat,
yeah.
am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So when we are trying to see when there is an increment, so what I was trying to establish at a common ground is one, hypertrophy is fiber specific. Are we both correct on that?
Hypertrophy simply means adding more fibers to the muscle.
When I'm saying more fibers, right? Hypertrophy is fiber specific. So let's say we have a
It's
fiber, okay?
basically
Now
the
that fiber,
increment in size of the fibers in a muscle, right?
yeah, exactly.
Hypertrophy.
So
Yeah,
what
that's the
when
basic.
a
Yeah.
fiber is itself stimulated, when a muscle fiber itself is stimulated, that
Mm-hmm.
muscle fiber like goes through mechanical tension and it experience like costomeres experience mechanical tension, and then we see an increase in myofibrillation. We are all correct on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, we are correct on the fact that like hypertrophy is a fiber specific.
Yeah, like if all
Every
the
single
fibers,
muscle fiber,
yeah, if the all
costomeres,
the
those.
fibers were experiencing the same level of load, of course,
Okay, so my question to you now is:
yeah.
are the fibers which are not activated experiencing load?
See, most of the fibers will be activated, but there's a difference between fiber just being activated and it being stimulated for hypertrophy,
Right,
right?
right,
So most of the fibers
right.
will be active, but the force output of those fibers will be different at different lengths.
Okay, so I would like to show you a different perspective towards
Not able to hear you. Yeah.
the training evidence which we have. You know what we see? We have a time course of strength adaptation. Now, we have about ample of studies showing that maximal voluntary contraction, you know, the when you tie someone up on like a leg extension machine or like a dynamometer machine, and we get like force production, wo pair seedha karta na, pata? So that machine. Now, that force itself is a very good correlation to against strength as well as hypertrophy. Now, the problem here is there is a time course of strength adaptations, right? Now, the time course includes different variables of strength. Now, for example, I'll tell you one thing. Okay? I am someone who has been doing stiff leg deadlifts. Uh, I don't know, I don't remember, but it's been a very long time. Now, if I go back to doing regular deadlifts, do you think my strength gains initially are going to be higher?
See, you will be strong because obviously you have been doing something, training your muscle for so long. Your muscle is strong enough.
Mhm.
Now, it will take some
Right.
time for you to
So
newly adapt to it, but of course
yeah,
you will be
yeah,
stronger.
yeah. So that is what we call task familiarity, right? So specific, whether it be race kind of lateral race variant, has a task familiarity concept towards it, right? So essentially, in the, let's say, for example, we have dumbbell lateral raises, cable lateral raises, right? So essentially, what we have is a task familiarity phase between every single exercise, right? So अभी ऐसा भी नहीं होगा, even you know this, right? पहली बार एक exercise चालू करते हैं, पता नहीं चलता कितना load use करना है, कितना ये करना है, right? Initially, especially when we are getting used to that given exercise, we see a larger increment in strength, right? Are we correct on
Huh.
that?
Yeah,
Right? So increment in strength, would you count that, okay, now we are making more progress?
we are hitting more fibers. So, yeah.
Do you think that progress is real progress?
See, of course it is because when your strength increases, your motor unit recruitment increases,
Okay.
right?
So I got something to show you. Okay. I don't know why, it is doing for me. Something like ज़्यादा पता नहीं है. Essentially, we have one study which shows one thing, that even though for when we introduce the initial first 4 weeks of a given exercise, we had increment in squat increments, right? Squat में हमारा strength improvement दिखा था वो एक study में. I'll send you over the study as well. But guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? So वही same study में they also had one thing, and that was जो leg extension force था ना, leg extension force. Even though we had an increment in squat strength, we did not see a single increment in like maximal voluntary contraction.
That can happen.
Now, that comes to a point where is that strength which we gain from that given exercise, is that real strength,
From
or
which
is it
exercise?
some kind
Leg
of
extension or
adaptations?
squats? Leg extensions or
Yeah,
squats?
is that's a dynamometer. That's a
Yeah.
most stable
So,
exercise which you can find.
which
So
exercise
even though
you're talking about?
I'm talking about, मैं exercise की बात ही नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं muscle की बात कर रहा हूँ. We are all talking about side delts growth, right? So if side delts, even though we are seeing on paper increment की हमने dumbbell lateral raise लिया, cable lateral raise लिया, right? Even though we see कि dumbbell lateral raise and cable lateral raise में मैंने switch किया, 3 महीना हो गया इसमें, 3 महीना हो गया इसमें, अभी तीसरे महीने में मैं ये चालू किया, right? In the first 4 weeks, I see faster increment in strength, but जो मैं maximally, like let's say, okay, let me just show you. Like यहाँ पे मेरा ये है, right? So if I take this and like maximally extend, right? Will now that उसका मैंने let's say एक वैल्यू आया, कोई तो स्पेसिफिक वैल्यू आया, ठीक है, फोर्स आउटपुट वैल्यू आया, वो वैल्यू didn't change from week 1 of my cable lateral raises and week 4 of my cable lateral raises.
Why? But why wouldn't it change?
Because those were not really strength adaptations which we were making, but rather task familiarity and coordination and motor unit recruitment adaptations which
Okay,
we were
okay,
making because of
got
the
it, got
task
it, got
familiar
it.
exercise.
But
Maybe I'm not, maybe I'm not explaining it
in
right,
that
like
in that study, how much time did it take for people to gain maximal strength in squats to actually, in
for
simple words, adapt to the movement?
ये 4 weeks के बाद we started seeing an increment in MVC
Yeah,
after 4 weeks.
right. So,
Yeah.
are we comparing a squat and a dumbbell lateral raise here?
No, I'm talking about task familiarity concept.
Of course, but
Yeah.
is task familiarity the same for each and every exercise? Will it
Yes.
take the same duration for each and every exercise?
Yes.
Doesn't it
It
depend
depends
on
on the person. Depends on the
it
person
depends on the
and their
person,
skill level.
100%, if he's putting more effort or not. It depends on that. But doesn't it depend whether
Not
the
not
movement?
it's not on the effort levels. It's not on the effort levels, but rather on.
So when you say
We
depends
also
on
have
the person,
studies
what do
like,
you mean?
okay, again. how familiar are they to that given exercise? That's what
Hmm.
we explore that.
No,
The
let's see.
person
Well,
is
let's
not
say both
really.
are beginners. Let's say both are beginners.
Then it's going to take more than 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, usually 4 to 5 weeks, which we are usually looking about. Because beginner,
Of
pehli
course.
baat, they are not just focusing on one aspect of training,
Yeah.
right? They have multiple aspects of things which we are looking into, right?
Yes.
We have coordination adaptation, antagonist agonist adaptations, lateral force transmission. We have different multiple adaptations which we are looking into compared to an advanced person who may not go through this kind of given
Agreed.
phenomenon, but rather coordination as well as motor unit recruitment adaptation and lateral force transmission adaptations,
Agreed.
right? Now,
Okay.
that's
So
the
if
same with
it's
everyone.
taking a
So,
person
which
four
we
to six
see, yeah,
weeks, yeah. Go on.
4 weeks, let's say 4 weeks.
Okay.
Let's say four
Okay.
weeks
Let's
is something
assume
which we see.
4 weeks. According to
No,
the
we
study,
have
also it
studies
was
for 4
4 weeks,
weeks.
right?
Mhm. I can't hear you. Can you say that again?
Like according to the study you're citing, it's 4 weeks, right?
Yeah, 4 weeks. So we have
Yeah.
essentially, let's say, let's take that into consideration. We have essentially 8 weeks of hypertrophy model which we have, which we are looking into, right?
Yeah, of course. See,
Now I have one more. Yeah.
what do you mean to say? I'm getting it. You're saying that neural adaptations take time, and if we keep switching exercises, it will take us longer to neurally adapt to that exercise and waste our time. Bottom line.
Sorry, your voice cut out. Say that again.
See, the point which you're trying to
Mhm.
make is neural adaptations take time. And if we keep switching exercises, it will take
Mhm.
us longer to adapt to that exercise and waste some of our
Yeah,
time. The period
you're
which we are taking to adapt,
absolutely correct.
right?
Absolutely correct. That was my point. Yeah.
Right? But the
Yeah.
point is, it takes different amount of time to adjust to an exercise such as a squat, because there we are using our core, we are using our legs, and
Mhm.
here in lateral raises, we are more or less mostly using our lateral deltoid, right? So the size of the muscles are different.
Right, but
The
again,
muscle group is fairly smaller. The exercise is fairly, the movement is simpler. It's a single joint movement, and neural adaptation is not going to take as long as it takes in squats. In squats, it takes 4 to 6 weeks. In lateral deltoids, it
mhm.
will take mostly 1 to 2 sessions. Might take
Do
three to
you
four
have?
sessions for a complete beginner. But
Mhm.
if the person is not a beginner, in one session, he'll be maybe in two. In worst case
Mhm.
scenario,
Mhm.
maybe in two, he will neurally adapt to that simple exercise. We cannot compare a squat to a lateral raise, right? Like there's a
That's not what we
lot
are
of
doing here.
differences.
That's not what we're doing here. We are comparing task familiarity
See,
also.
it will take you
Right?
longer to neurally adapt to a squat. It won't take you that long to neurally adapt to lateral raises. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Right, right. My question to you here is now, as you said, it's gonna take less time for you to adapt. Would be a lot more better if you could cite me like something which shows me that the task familiarity
Okay,
is
you can just
lesser.
go on Google, maybe Chat GPT, and just type the same thing I'm telling. The
I'm not
same
going
thing which
on
I'm
GPT.
saying.
I'm
See,
not going on
whatever you're
GPT.
using, whichever journal or whichever your journal you're using to cite studies, you just go there and enter the same sentence. How much time does it take to newly adapt to a squat versus lateral raises? You'll get some insights.
Again, Sana,
See,
whenever we are talking about,
my knowledge is not just limited to citing studies online. Okay, there's some basic level concepts which you have to know before
but
citing citing studies, because you might agree with me. Just to read those studies, you need some basic level of knowledge,
Sana,
conceptual
I'll tell
knowledge,
you one thing.
right?
Listen, so
Now,
whenever we go
so
on GPT,
okay, just let me know
listen,
this. Just let me know
listen,
this.
listen.
We
Okay,
can proceed
okay, I will.
after that. Just let me know this.
Hold on,
Do you
hold on.
agree or not that it will take longer to neurally adapt to a squat than lateral raises? Much longer.
Sorry?
Do you agree that it will take much longer to adapt to a squat than lateral raises?
Sure. Yeah, that would be there. And again, we can also say the same thing with like a dumbbell lateral raise, cable lateral raise, and a machine lateral raise.
See, you
There's going to
can
be a
compare
different
dumbbell
level
and
of
cable, but I'm See, when I say lateral raises, it includes everything. Dumbbell lateral raises, cable lateral raises, or whatever lateral raises. Okay? Because we are inferring to the movement, we are inferring how many joints are used in that movement, how much muscle mass is used, because the more muscle, the larger the muscle it is, more time it takes to actually activate it. You cited the study, they used quads, right? Quads as the main muscle they were using to calculate the force output, right? Now, squats took more time for the quads to maximally perform because there were a lot of stability requirements which were not met initially because of not being able to properly recruit all the muscles, recruit all the core muscles, and as you said, the antagonist, the agonist, the quads and the hamstrings, whatever is stabilizing the joints, it will take much more effort because the muscles are more, the muscles are larger. So it takes time to neurally adapt, and we are using a lot of muscles at once. It will take more coordination. But lateral raises, the
Sure.
scene completely changes. It's one of the most simple exercises you can do for hypertrophy. It's just arm abduction, and it
Do
just
you
uses
think it's
mainly your
gonna be?
lateral deltoid. Stability requirements are also much lesser than a squat if you compare, right?
Do you think my question is like? Do you think it's gonna be the same for a beginner?
Absolutely not. Beginners will adapt much faster to lateral raises compared to squats.
That's what I'm. That's the thing. But my question is, do you think beginners are gonna adapt the same way which you're talking about, like 1 to 2 weeks with a cable lateral raise and a dumbbell lateral raise?
uh, the rate, see, suppose like it's comparable. Like if
Right.
a person is learning, maybe he's not a beginner anymore, so his rate of learning is 30% faster than a beginner. So we can compare it like that. It's not like if a person is beginner, so he's taking less time to adapt or more time to adapt in lateral raises. But if we get a person who's experienced, he will take, you know, much more time or less time. Like that's not a solid comparison. If we want to compare, we have to compare the rates at which they are adapting at each exercise separately because all the exercises are different. And each and every exercise, squat is a compound lift, right? And that to barbell squats
That I think we have established the fact that squat and lateral raises are different. I
are
don't think
very
we need to bring
different.
that back here.
So what are we arguing about? Just want some insight
My
on that.
question here is again, if we see a difference here, so we both agree that there is going to be a time difference here as well, right? With dumbbell lateral raise and cable lateral raise, we agree that यहाँ पे एक degree, एक certain degree of होगा, right? Let's say 1 week, 2 week, ठीक है? 1 week, 2 week worth of time difference होगा.
I think 1 to 2 sessions will be more than enough.
For 1 to 2 sessions, that is a lot more to say, man. I would say that
See, for
that's
beginners, it might take
I
up to 4 for lateral raises. 4, but for an intermediate person, maximum 1 to 2 sessions. If we change the equipment, it's a fairly simple movement. It's a very simple movement. It doesn't
movement
require a
simple
lot of
आपके लिए
neural
मामा.
adaptation.
Movement
It's not
simple
like for
आपके लिए.
me it's simple, or for somebody else. See, the muscle is small for everybody, proportionally, right? In
Are you
everybody's
sure?
body, we have small lateral deltoids and large quads.
Are you sure?
Are you sure we
Like
have
that?
like larger lateral deltoids than quads?
Are you sure that the lateral like delts are the smallest muscle? Is what you're saying?
I'm not saying that's the smallest muscle. I'm saying I'm comparing it to quads because
Yeah, sure, sure.
because
You
you
can say that.
cited the quads study, right? You cited the quads
Yeah, yeah.
study. That's why I'm bringing it into
hmm
discussion.
Okay, let's keep the quads aside. Okay,
Okay.
quads. That was a example which I wanted to use, not
Okay.
really
So
something
let's keep
we
that
would
study
try and
aside.
compare. Right. So we agree
So
that there is
I
going to be
think
one
lateral
week.
raises is one of the simplest movement when it comes to all the movement of
Right,
human
right,
body
right.
can do.
Yeah, coordination. See,
Right?
मैं agree कर रहा हूँ. Coordination adaptations fast होते हैं. Right, एक हफ्ते के अंदर हो जाते हैं. But
Of
now
course,
we are not just looking. Yeah, we are. You're right on that. 1 week. So out of the 3 months, now we have 3 months में कितने weeks होते हैं? 12 weeks. Now we have 11 weeks worth of training. Now we have other adaptations to go towards as well. Right.
other
Now one of them
adaptations
is
as in
motor unit.
your voice is breaking.
Let me just switch my Wi-Fi. एक second. जाने दो. Let it be. Let it be. I don't know. The Wi-Fi is not going to change. Chanda. So yeah, so we have 1 week removed from the 12 weeks exactly, right? You're saying that. So we have 11 weeks worth of improvements which we can make. Now, coming back to the point which we said, which we were talking about, that was coordination adaptation, right? Now we come down to motor unit recruitment adaptations. Now,
No,
what
no,
is this?
it's
What do you
every like even the motor unit recruitment adaptation. It won't take that long for you to just like even for the motor unit recruitment adaptation. It won't take like it's we are talking in the context of all kinds of neural adaptations, not just muscle coordination. Like because for the muscle coordinations are muscles surrounding the lateral deltoids, mostly which are stabilizing the movement are really small muscles. So even for the motor unit recruitment,
okay?
it won't take that
Give
much
me okay.
time.
So I want to distinguish that coordination adaptation, that is task familiarity,
Mm-hmm.
is a different adaptation than
Mm-hmm.
motor unit recruitment adaptations.
Of course, because for coordination we use different muscles. Definitely. Yes. So
Different exercises as well, right? Different, again, changing of the exercise can do that. Now, so we established that the first part of the given exercise is going to be
Mhm.
coordination adaptation. We are establishing that.
no, like that we are established. It's also going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be like for every level,
Okay,
level of
that's
neural
one middle
adaptation,
ground.
coordination,
Let's say good
motor
for
unit
middle ground.
recruitment. See, you're telling me that the motor unit recruitment will again, if you switch exercise after 3 months, it will take again more time, like it took for a beginner. But that's not happening. Your motor recruitment is going to be a lot more better than a beginner. It's going to take a lot less time, like again 1 to 2 sessions for you
You
to reach.
think we will reach maximum voluntary contraction
See
on a given specific level of recruitment?
the possibility in a certain time frame. Yeah, like
Okay.
if you
So
continue doing
you,
the same exercise, your motor unit recruitment is going to get better and better with time, right?
Shana, those are two different adaptations which I'm talking about. I think we have one problem here, and I think it's the part that
See, the point
we
which
are
I want to
seeing.
make is
Mhm.
your motor unit recruitment. You're saying that if we change an exercise, we are going to
Mm.
see we are going to see a decrement when it comes to motor unit recruitment. It's not going to be as better as it was if we were keeping on doing the same exercise. That's what you mean, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So in my point of view, if you change an exercise, simple exercise that a lateral raises exercise, if you change the
Mhm.
resistance profile every 3 months, yes, the session in which you're changing the exercise might see a little bit of decrement in motor unit recruitment. You might not be able to perform to your potential in the first 1 or 2 sessions, but after those sessions, your motor unit recruitment is going to be restored.
Now, sure, I'll tell you one thing, right? So, as we see that there is a change in the ability to recruit high threshold motor units. Now, we have different subsets of motor units in
Hmm.
each given
Hmm.
sections as well. Right now, this is dumbbell lateral raise. This is cable lateral raise. Now we have different level subsets of motor units on this, different subset of motor units in this and this. Recruitment level on this will increase because we are doing this specific exercise. Again, exercise recruitment, amount of motor units which we are going to be recruiting is again coming down to task specificity. We both have established one more thing, that there is also one study which shows that there is different level of activation occurring, not activation, sorry, growth, proximal and distal growth occurring, which means that we might see one thing, there is a distal level growth occurring rather at the dumbbell lateral raise and proximal level on the cable lateral raise, which means that there might be some amount of recruitment on the this thing which is going to be preferentially more than this, which also tells us one specific, sorry, yeah, which also tells us one specific thing, that we might see a reduction in recruitment in those exercises as well, because those exercises are not recruiting this. For example, let's say we switched, right? अभी मैंने यहाँ पे switch मारा, right?
Hmm.
जाएंगे, Because there is this thing called all or none principle. Right?
No,
So the
I
all or
get your
none
point.
principle says,
I agree.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah. So the all or none principle says exactly one thing, that if a muscle fiber, like if a motor unit is not recruited, the muscle fibers in those given motor units are not gonna be recruited. Right?
See,
Now that tells us why, exactly why we see a differential differential actual growth study. This is side bets are एक ऐसा only study where we see कि there is growth differences, right? I think Catman is one of my friends. He might fight side the study on that, but we see the difference. And when we see a difference, what are we exactly seeing? That there is a difference in level of activation, right? So
the
if
activation,
adaptations
see,
are
so
there,
the all or none principle says that activation level is similar for all
okay,
muscle fibers. Either the muscle fiber is activated or it's not. Activation level is similar. The force, the tension it's feeling, that changes, right?
but Shana,
Sorry,
but
your
we
voice was
have,
breaking again. Can you repeat?
yeah, Shana, but we actually have outcome data this time here, especially on the side delts,
See,
that there
I
is
agree with your
growth
data. I'm
differences.
just telling you that you cannot, like, this is getting activated and this is not getting activated. It's not like that. When you hit failure,
It is
most of
that.
the fibers are activated. I'm just trying to
Why
make
do
the
we see a
point
difference in growth
that
then?
this, yeah, sorry.
Why do we see a difference in growth then?
Yeah. I'm coming to that. So I'm trying to make the point is the tension the fiber feels, that is different. And hypertrophy is
Okay, so
stimulated through
again,
that tension, right? So when we are even walking, our leg muscles are activated, but they're not feeling that level of mechanical tension. That is why they don't, we cannot see hypertrophy from just walking. So it's all about the tension.
Sana, I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you something new today, right? So when you immobilize me, when I get immobilized, let's say my arm is now injured.
Yes, you will
Now,
lose some of your
ठीक
muscles. Yes.
sum up muscle नहीं. I'll tell you what happens, right? So when I am immobilized, right? तो पता है क्या
Mm-hmm.
होता? Now वहाँ पे atrophy अच्छी खासी हो जाएगी. Now you see
Hypertrophy
फट
होगी,
से
which
reduction in
means
muscle
loss
mass,
of
right?
muscle mass. Yes.
Why? Because those muscle fibers are not activated and they're not experiencing mechanical tension, right?
No,
So there
body,
is
see,
some,
if you don't need something, your body doesn't waste its resources on that, right? So
Sana, you know
even
that
even when
the,
you're moving your arm, you feel certain amount of tension. The thing is, you are already well adapted to that. That's why you cannot see growth from just moving around. But if you just sleep around, you are not
yeah,
moving
movement
anymore.
capable.
Even that muscle mass which you
Exactly, yeah,
already have, you don't need that. So body will get rid of it.
right.
You are basically telling me that if you stop doing dumbbell lateral raises, that
Okay, yeah. Coming back to
distal
the point, yeah.
hypertrophy or proximal
Mm.
hypertrophy, whichever you are getting from dumbbell lateral raises, if you stop doing that exercise, those
Mm.
fibers will face atrophy. That's the
Yeah,
point you're trying to make, right?
I'll tell you one thing. So we exactly have one extra study on that, and that is showing that कहाँ गया वो? Yeah. So there is this one study, one PMID 199033317. This specifically study says one thing. Okay, now please let me speak. Okay,
Of course.
एक बार, please. Right. So the thing is, यहाँ पे what we see here is these 3 months में, ये 3 महीने strength gains. I want you to guess, just detraining में, how quickly the quick,
Your voice is breaking. Sorry, can you
how quickly,
repeat? Yes.
yeah, how quickly do you think? I just want you to guess. How quickly do you think they lost adaptations?
From complete immobilization,
No, just detraining. कि वो specific exercise उन्होंने नहीं किया.
उन्होंने कौन सा specific exercise नहीं किया?
This is for, let me just find it exactly. I don't remember. I have like 7 studies here. Let me just send it over to you. Right? But yeah,
Like,
so
no, I'm just asking कि कौन सा exercise छोड़ा उन्होंने, and was it like the muscle not, they were not using the muscle at all?
no, they were using the muscle, but they were not exercising. They were not doing that exercise. Oh, this is what? Okay, it was a roll of exercises. So it's not like just one exercise, it's like multiple different exercises, but बोलेंगे muscle biopsy for one exercise निकाल के. Right? Now, that specific भाई मेरे को recharge कौन कर रहा है यार? Yeah, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. So that specific exercise routine, they had a whole exercise routine which they were doing. After 90 days, these guys they told him to stop doing the exercise. So then they took muscle biopsies of, they have not written here यहाँ पे कौन सा muscle, but they see that they lost all the adaptations which they gained in 90 days, 3 months, in 4 weeks.
Yeah, you will lose adaptation, but it will come back
In four
sooner.
weeks. So you agree with me?
It
You
won't take
agree with
90
me?
days to get back to the same adaptation. Which exercise was
Yeah,
it?
मैं वो बोल भी नहीं
See, no, no,
बोल भी
I'll
नहीं
tell
रहा
you,
हूँ.
I'll tell you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
एक बार बात करनी. Let me
yeah,
just speak, bro.
yeah.
Okay. So, हाँ, just leave that. Yeah. So 3 महीने के एडाप्टेशन, 3 महीने के जो गेम्स मिले थे, दे लॉस्ट इन 4 weeks. ठीक है, मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि उनको और 3 महीना लगेगा, मैं नहीं बोल रहा, बट दे, डू यू अग्री दिस कैन हैपन?
See, it depends on a lot of factors.
यार, you think it's not gonna happen? We have data on that, bro.
Look, are we talking about muscle atrophy? Because you were first talking about muscle
Yeah,
atrophy.
atrophy. Yeah.
So were they not using the muscle at all?
No, it was a detraining study. Detraining studies basically just don't train.
No training, right? But so how are we comparing it to changing the resistance profile of an exercise? Like, I didn't ask anybody to stop training, right? If we want to cite that study, they have to do another exercise with a different resistance profile. Then we can establish something out of it.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I finally switched the Wi-Fi, so we know we don't have any issues. Yeah, bolo.
Okay. That's good news. Okay.
Ah.
So I was saying, so they were detraining, but I never asked anybody to stop exercising. I never even asked to stop
Listen,
some
listen,
form of
Shan.
exercise
Okay,
completely. I
let
never
me
asked them.
complete.
Yeah. Go on.
Okay. तो अगर आप मुझे मेरा आर्ग्यूमेंट कंप्लीट करने दोगे, तो मैं आपको
Hmm.
समझा पाऊंगा कि मैं कहाँ से आ रहा हूँ.
Yeah, of course.
Right? But what's happening here is, I think you are interrupting me in between, so that's a little.
No. Now you will tell me to speak only, then I'll speak. Come on, go on.
Yeah. So we agree that there is gonna be detraining hua to this will happen. Now this detraining tells us one specific thing. Comparing the cable lateral raises, dumbbell lateral raises study which we have, that we see a regional difference in growth, actual growth. We see that one thing, ki if a specific muscle fiber is not being used, it loses its ability, right? It loses its size. That we both can agree. Right? That
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Now, in the cable lateral raise, dumbbell lateral raise, if we see a proximal and distal growth, there is a differential level of activation which is going to happen. And that's why we had a differential level of growth, right? We have outcome data showing that there's a differential level of growth. Now, because there is a differential level of growth, which also tells us one thing, that there is a differential level of recruitment. Because there's a differential level of recruitment, differential level of activation, differential level of like how much amount of mechanical tension a specific muscle fiber experiences. That's why we have that outcome data showing that proximal and distal growth हो रहा है अलग से. Now, coming back to my point of detraining studies, why did I bring up the detraining study up? Now, the reason I brought the detraining study up was specifically because of one reason and one reason only. It's to highlight the fact that when a muscle fiber is not being used, it's going to atrophy, right? And I'm not talking about the whole muscle. Let's say this toothpick ka box is muscle. You get what I'm saying? This is how it's made up of, right? So यहाँ पे से let's say कि 3-4 मसल फाइबर्स हैं जो डंबल लैटरल रेजेस में प्रेफरेंशियली ज्यादा एक्टिवेट हो रहे हैं. preferentially activate होते हैं, again all or none principle. So we come to a point of saying that okay, डंबल lateral raise, cable lateral raise में अलग अलग differential activation होगी. अगर मैंने वो exercise डंबल lateral raise, cable lateral raise मैंने change कर दिया, right? We will see कि यहाँ पे वो जो मोटर यूनिट रिक्रूटमेंट यहाँ पे जो हो रही थी वो यहाँ पे नहीं हो रही है, राइट? सो द मसल फाइबर्स जो टॉप एंड ऑफ द मोटर यूनिट्स जो यहाँ पे रिक्रूट हो रहे थे वो अभी यहाँ पे नहीं हो रही है बिकॉज ऑफ द again recruitment abilities which they both different exercise possess, which is what we have already seen and documented in the research. Now comes to the point of the same retraining study which I bring back. Now those muscle fibers in dumbbell lateral raise, cable lateral raise will have differential level of activation, right? Now इसमें क्योंकि activation level अलग है इससे, what we'll see is that यहाँ के जो muscle fibers at the top end of the motor unit pool will experience atrophy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So
like a wild conclusion. Okay.
it's not a wide conclusion. How is
Okay.
it
Do
wide?
you have anything else to say, or I can speak?
Mm, you can go ahead.
Okay, I want to ask you this study where you said that you see different level of proximal and distal growth.
Mm-hmm.
So, where you see proximal growth, was distal growth equated to zero? Whether there was
It
no
was
growth at
literally,
all?
there was evident. You can, I can send it to you if you want. It was evident that
That
यहाँ पे
that
नीचे growth नहीं है.
that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
Growth. I'm not saying कि growth नहीं है.
See,
Because obviously, again,
if it
at
was
the end of the
happening,
day, we are.
then some people targeting different exercises will see irregular muscles,
Sana, मैं
irregular
data दे
muscle
रहा हूँ
belly.
तुम्हें.
That
अब
doesn't
मैं तो
happen.
I'm
That
showing you
doesn't, have
data.
you seen anybody in the world having, unequal muscle belly where this part, distal part is this much and proximal part is this?
Shania, there
It
is
never happens even if you're
documentation.
doing the, see, if dumbbell lateral raises led to more distal growth, that does not mean you will see zero growth in the proximal region.
Yeah, then you're agreeing with me the fact that motor unit recruitment is different.
It
And it's
is
not
different. It
high,
is
like the
different. But
high threshold
see,
recruitment is
all
different
or
in both
none
of them.
principle, how are you using the all or none principle? Just tell me
That
that.
there is gonna be यहाँ पे let's say dumbbell lateral raise, cable lateral raise, right? यहाँ पे let's say we do this exercise for let's say 3 months straight, right? यहाँ पे we'll reach maximum. I'm agreeing with you. यहाँ पे they'll reach maximum amount of recruitment, right? But this boy here, he's gonna be neglected like I was neglected
See,
by
for
my
the
dad.
muscle to completely atrophy, you will have to stop activating it.
See?
Yeah? See. And the activation, see, you will
So
have to.
atrophy occurs at the muscle fiber level, not the whole muscle level, right? So I'm talking about a whole single muscle fiber, not the
Yeah.
big one. पूरा
Atrophy
मैं
means
पूरे डेल्ट की बात कर
decrement
रही
in
हूँ.
the size of muscle fibers, right? Some fibers
Size of
decrease,
one
some don't.
specific muscle fiber.
Yeah, it decreases. That is atrophy. It doesn't vanish. It decreases,
Yep,
right?
sure. मैं थोड़ी बोल रहा हूँ, क्या बोल रहा हूँ.
Yeah. So see, आपका कहने का मतलब है your meaning to say basically is if dumbbell lateral raises is leading to more distal growth. Now, if we never do cable lateral raises, does that mean that the proximal area is never going to grow at all?
I'm saying that there's going to be different level of motor unit recruitment, and we see that we have
Let's
established
talk
that with
about growth.
outcome data.
Let's
We
let's
have
talk
data,
growth.
Sanaya, on that. Yeah,
Let's talk about.
I'm talking about
See,
growth.
I'm getting confused. First, you said it's about muscle growth in the proximal and distal region. Now you're saying motor unit recruitment. So I'm saying let's just talk about growth.
Yeah, there's going to be different level of growth.
There's
We have
going to
data on
be a
that.
different level, but how different? Is the
Again,
proximal
enough to cause
region not
significant
going
difference
to
impacted.
just say this? Is the proximal region not going to grow at all, and only distal region is going to grow within the matter of years? Is
We
that
see
going to happen?
statistical significant differences
See,
between
if
them.
that was happening, the people who were doing dumbbell lateral raises only since 2-3 years, we will see an uneven muscle belly where distal region has grown too much and
That's not what
proximal
I'm
region
saying.
has not grown at
That's
all.
not what I'm saying.
That
That's not how
never
muscle growth works.
happens. That
Because
never happens.
pernation, yeah,
Regional
because pernation angle
hypertrophy.
changes.
See,
Because
regional
pernation angle
hypertrophy.
changes. We both know that. Keep okay, muscle growth.
ऐसा
Because
नहीं
we
होता
have
है,
like a
right? You agree with
pernation
me?
angle.
You
Pernation angle
agree
change
with me?
होता है.
It never happens कि distal region grow हो गया, muscle का and proximal growth ही नहीं हुआ. That never happens.
Sana, listen,
You agree, right?
Sana, listen. We both are what?
Okay.
We
No,
both are
just
what?
tell me, do you
Listen,
agree with this?
listen. I
No, no,
agree with you. I agree with you.
yeah,
Listen, listen.
you agree
अभी
on
मेरी
this,
बात सुनो.
right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
agree
अभी
on this.
मेरी बात. अभी मेरी बात
And
सुनो.
now you
We
can
both
go
are
ahead.
what? We
Yeah.
both are what? We both
No,
are what?
see,
We both are
let's
what?
not go off topic. Let's not go
मैं
off.
वो नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. We both are what? Science based lifters,
See, let's not
right?
go off
We need
topic.
to use data, right? I'm not sure. Again, we are stuck in theory.
See, the data
Theory,
which you see in the
theory.
matter of weeks, you cannot say that the same thing is going to happen in the matter of years,
We have
right?
data. I'm showing you data. You're showing me theory. What are we? Theory based lifters or science based lifters?
See, theory is science.
But
Theory
we
is
have
science.
outcome data. You're denying the outcome data.
No, no. See, if that data was like of 10 years and the data set was huge, then yes, then that theory needs to change. But right now,
Mm. Mhm.
I and I'm sure a lot of people are going to agree that it's not possible that the distal region of a muscle is growing a lot and proximal region is not seeing growth at all. It never happens. It never happens.
Yeah, I
There can be
think.
differences in regional hypertrophy, but it's never like one region is getting hypertrophy and one region is not getting hypertrophy at all. That never happens.
So I think what we are kind of seeing here is that again, I need data from you, right? We are all science-based lifters. We need data,
See, I'll give you
but
data
scientifically,
later. I'll give you data later. Maybe like, I don't know, like we are arguing something which is like, do you mean to imply that we can get a lot of distal hypertrophy, but we will not get any proximal hypertrophy?
no,
Do
मैं
you
वो नहीं
mean
बोल रहा
to
हूँ. मैं बोल रहा हूँ
imply
there is
that?
preference. No, I'm saying that there is
You're not
preferential
going to
level of
imply
stress.
because you know that's not true.
Yeah, I'm telling you, every exercise is going to have different level of motor unit recruitment, which is established in the given study.
And
We see
that's
that
why
there's,
we need exercise variation at the
yeah,
first
and
place.
why not do both of them?
I agree, we can do that. Now, that is where I was coming to a point. You can make an argument. Like we can switch between both of them, right? Why I'm telling switch and not include everything in the training? Because it will lead to overtraining. It's a fairly small muscle. We are already doing shoulder presses. We have to do shoulder presses. It's a highly trainable exercise. Replacing that with lateral raises is a very poor decision according to me. So you are doing shoulder presses and then you are doing lateral raises with two different equipments. You cannot include that in one plan. You have to at least alternate between the two, right? You cannot do all in one day, in one session, right? Three different
What?
exercises for lateral
You're
raises.
gonna do dumbbell. Okay, so you are saying that to let's say we have upper, lower, upper, lower, upper, lower. We have three upper sessions, and we have three lower sessions, right? Now you're saying that एक session में we'll do dumbbell lateral raises, एक session में we'll do cable lateral raises,
That
एक
depends
session
on
में
you.
we'll do shoulder
You just
presses.
told me कि हम लोग दोनों क्यों नहीं कर सकते हैं? You made that statement, right? Now you let me know
Mm,
how you want to proceed. कि दोनों करना है. How do you want to do that?
I genuinely think, Shana, I don't think we need both of them.
I
I
think we
think,
need both of them.
I
You
think,
you were trying to make that conclusion all this while, like since an hour, that exercise variation is important.
yeah, yeah,
जितना
sure.
debate
मैं
हुआ,
वो नहीं बोल रहा
whatever
हूँ.
we told, we came to the conclusion together that exercise variation is important, didn't we?
Shana, let me speak. एक बार, okay? I think you interrupted me enough for once. Let me speak, okay? What I'm saying here is, I'm not saying कि दोनों मत करो. What I'm saying here is pick one, choose one, get stronger at one, and keep doing one. And
No, you're
fine if you
right.
want to, yeah,
You're
and
right.
that is what I'm saying.
When it comes to a exercise which requires, a lot of effort, which creates a lot of fatigue, it will take you longer to adapt to that exercise. Lateral raises is not like adapt to that exercise. You'll take two sessions, 2 to 3 sessions to adapt. So adaptation is not the question here. We are over that.
So how many sessions in a week are we doing now?
How many
Two?
such sessions do you want to do?
Okay, let's say we have two sessions, which we do because again, two times frequency we are doing for it. Next session we have third session. Then we get into the recruitment area. So the point which I was trying to make was that the gains which you make in 3 months doing cable lateral raises, and you remove the cable lateral raises as a stimulus, and then you put dumbbell lateral raises, we will see some amount of atrophy.
No, we won't.
Any data you have?
We might not see the same
Again,
same
Sana,
level
Sana,
of, no,
you
we
again,
won't see atrophy. We won't say
डेटा
atrophy.
दिखाओ. डेटा दिखाओ.
एट्रोफी के लिए एक्टिवेट करना बंद करना पड़ता है आपको, जो भी
But
एट्रोफी पे डेटा
I
मिला है.
dikha, I have data to show you that there is atrophy activation बंद थोड़ी. I'm talking about high threshold motor
यू
units की बात कर रहा हूँ.
यू टोल्ड मी
Like
कि
we
डे
are talking,
ट्रेनिंग के
हाँ,
बाद एट्रोफी हुआ है, राइट?
yeah,
You have to stop
detraining.
training. You have to stop training for atrophy to happen.
Shania,
Not just
there is
switching exercise won't
all or
atrophy
none
away.
principle says what?
Yeah,
Either
what
a motor unit is recruited, either a motor unit muscle fibers in a motor like motor units के muscle fibers are recruited maximally or they are not recruited at all. That's the
okay.
all or none principle.
See, this is the confusion you have, and that's why it's
That's a
leading you to
principle, not a confusion.
see, it doesn't happen like that. See, even let
It's
me
a
tell you this.
principle.
You can go and later on do your research on this. Let me just make you understand how it happens, the all or none principle. You are very right. Muscle fiber is either activated or it's not. Okay, but that is different from muscle fiber getting stimulated for hypertrophy.
Data.
It's different.
Let's see
Just
data.
see, it's not data. You can just go on the internet and
Shana,
check the facts. These are
you know
facts.
what, Shana? See,
See, let
Amsa,
me complete.
the
Let me
problem
complete.
here is, see, the
Let me
Shana, problem
complete my
here.
statement, and you can
Mhm.
tell me the problem. Let me first complete the statement. आप all और none principle को confuse कर रहे हो fiber getting loaded maximally or getting stimulated for hypertrophy. You're confusing the two. Just because a muscle fiber is activated does not mean it has enough mechanical tension to be stimulated for growth. Okay, fiber का activation तो होगा ही दोनों exercises में. You will see
Mm.
a lot of fiber, like most of the fibers will be active, especially when you're
Yeah.
training till failure. But some fibers will feel more mechanical tension and some will feel less mechanical tension. This is what is going on. We are not talking about activation. Activation to hoga hi. Yes,
Mm.
most of the muscle fibers will get activated, and that is why they won't atrophy, right? But hypertrophy stimulation, वो सारे fibers में नहीं होगा.
What determines hypertrophy stimulation?
See, a lot of things determine. First of all, it has to feel that level of mechanical tension.
What
Now,
is,
your
what is, what specific
activation
thing,
is activation is
what
different.
specific thing is taking mechanical tension? What specific mechanoreceptor is taking mechanical tension?
Now, you want me to explain the mechanism?
Tell me which like mechanoreceptor is sensing mechanical tension and which which is causing the cascading process.
Okay, so there are two signaling pathways. One is mTOR and one is MAPK. And the sensing, if we talk about, so you know ECM? Do you know ECM? What's ECM?
आगे बोलो या आगे बोलो. Completely
Extracellular
sensing.
matrix, right?
Uh-huh.
It has interrogants. Interrogants में होता है FAK, force adhesion kinase. वो सेंस करता है मैकेनिकल टेंशन, राइट? एंड MAPK बेसिकली ये ECM में कितना स्ट्रेन पड़ रहा है उससे एक्टिवेट होता है. mTOR is basically activated by the mechanical tension the muscle is feeling, that particular FAK is feeling, right?
What the costomer do, bro?
Sorry?
What the costomer do?
Costomer. I'm not aware of the thing called costomer. Please elaborate for me.
Excellent. Costomer is basically the sensor which senses it is where mechanical tension is being sensed.
See, I know FAK, force adhesion kinase. I know interrogants. I have not heard about the thing you're talking about right now. Maybe I'll research about it later. But I know about FAK, and I know those are the things that activate both the signaling pathways, both primary ones. Of course, satellite signaling and all that to
Okay,
hota hai,
I'll
but
just give you an explanation. Each specific muscle fiber has each specific. I'm not talking about the whole side delts in general. Not talking about the whole side delts in general. साइड डेल्ट्स में से मैंने एक छोटी सी मसल फाइबर निकाली. ठीक है, साइड डेल्ट्स में से मैंने छोटी सी मसल फाइबर निकाली. यहाँ पे ये मसल फाइबर के अंदर होगी कॉस्टोमर, एक स्पेसिफिक मसल, एक
and where are
छोटी
they
सी मसल
located?
इनसाइड ऑफ द सार्कोमियर.
Inside of
सार्कोमियर,
the
सार्कोमियर में, राइट. नाउ आई एम गोना टेल यू वन थिंग. लिसन,
sacrum, inside of the
एक मिनट,
sacrum.
लिसन, बात करने दो, राइट. सार्कोमियर में होती है, एक स्पेसिफिक सार्कोमियर में कॉस्टोमियर्स लगे होते हैं. These costomeres are the one which experience mechanical tension, which signals growth. Now, that is one specific muscle fiber in साइटेड, एक छोटा सा ग्रैंड, मेरे बाल अभी मैं आई एम ऑलरेडी बॉल्डिंग बट एक बाल निकाला मैं, राइट? सो वो एक स्ट्रैंड में, दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट, राइट? अभी मैंने मेरे पूरे डेल्ट को काट के निकाला, उसमें से एक छोटी सी मसल फाइबर निकाली,
I got
दैट
you.
इज व्हाट यू गॉट, व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, राइट? अभी दिस थिंग, you think this specific muscle fiber at the top end of the motor unit pool, top end of the motor unit pool on a dumbbell lateral raise and a cable lateral raise is going to have the same amount of tension?
Sorry, can you repeat the last sentence again? Top
The
end.
the top end of the motor unit pool on a dumbbell lateral raise, this specific muscle fiber at the top, subset top end volume, or this
Top
at the subset top,
top means what basically? High motor threshold, you mean that
highest threshold motor unit, right?
हाँ
Highest, like high threshold motor units, at the top end of the motor unit pool.
मतलब सबसे
This
डिफिकल्ट है उसको
the
रिक्रूट
motor
करना,
unit pool,
हाईएस्ट
Shana.
थ्रेशोल्ड,
The
हाईएस्ट
motor unit, the motor unit pool, Shana. At the top end of the motor unit pool, this dumbbell lateral raise and this cable lateral raise. Do you think this is going to be the same fiber?
same fiber as in like you are talking about two different fibers. I didn't get your question.
Okay.
I got till top end of the threshold. उसके बाद what are you asking me?
Top end of the motor unit pool, okay? On a dumbbell lateral raise. We have a dumbbell lateral raise, cable lateral raise, okay? We have established one thing, that ये दोनों exercise variation से we are gonna see differential level of growth with the outcome data which we have. That is true, right? I'm talking about, मैं ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि पूरा मसल अलग दिखने वाला, वो we both have established that. Now, what I'm talking about here is the fact that ये exercise में at the top end of the motor unit pool and ये exercise में at the top end of the motor unit pool, will this and this fiber at the top end of the motor unit pool be the same fiber which is going to be recruited?
Unit recruitment, I think you are confusing. ऐसा नहीं होता है कि एक एक्सरसाइज में a particular fiber.
Why do we see a difference in growth then? What's causing the difference in growth? Tell me.
Mechanical tension. Some fibers
Why is
are
there a difference?
good,
Yeah, that's what we said. What causes, what senses mechanical tension? It's the costomeus which is experiencing mechanical tension. If
You
the
know about
costomeus at the top end of
I
the,
know about efficacy and interrogance. Yeah, but we are basically talking about mechanoreceptors. ठीक है. So you are saying कि mechanical tension क्या experience कर रहा है? Fiber experience कर रहा है, right? Your particular fiber is experiencing mechanical tension. Now, basically, not all fibers of the muscle is experiencing the same level of mechanical tension. That is the point I'm trying to establish. All or none principle is different. That's about activation. And that is why atrophy won't happen, because fibers are getting activated. Now, are they getting stimulated for hypertrophy? Mechanical tension will decide. Simple. Now, some fibers will be loaded with more mechanical tension and some will be loaded with less mechanical tension, depending on their lengths. Okay? Do you agree with me, or is it something new for you?
Can you repeat that?
So basically, we have all or none principle that talks about activation of a fiber. Okay, either
No,
it's
it talks about
activated.
motor units.
No, all or none principle is basically activation. Motor
Yeah,
unit
activation of
recruitment
what?
is different. That is Henman's principle.
Activation of what, sir?
You are confusing Henman's principle with all or none
No,
principle.
I'm not. I'm
No,
talking
you're
about
not, right?
activation of what?
So you know there's a difference between activation
Yeah.
and the level of mechanical tension a fiber is experiencing. You know those two things are different.
But if we have
Right?
outcome data showing that there is difference, then why are you disagreeing?
See, your data doesn't work in my case, because you are
Your case.
You are either making it a complete detraining phase. I never said to stop training and do retraining. So how can you imply the same data
I'm
on
talking
my?
about fiber levels, Shana.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
I'm also talking about the
minuscule
fiber level. And you had confusion between all or none. आपको लग रहा था all or none principle का मतलब है mechanical tension सब में same होगा. And कुछ fibers में होता है, कुछ fibers में
you're
बिल्कुल
twisting
नहीं
my
होता.
words, Shana.
You were saying, you were implying that. Maybe you were not, maybe I am the one who's not understanding, but you were implying that either it will all or none principles say either it will have mechanical tension or it won't. But it doesn't
Again,
happen
I
like
think
that.
Shana, what we have here is a negligence to understand each other's point.
See, I'm trying to make my point clear.
Yeah,
Now,
and I
I'm
understood
also
that. But
trying, see,
again,
you have
the
this
problem here is
misconception.
that, okay,
You
listen,
had this misconception कि all on
I didn't have
you
any
were
local.
you repeated it several times during the debate कि all on run principle के हिसाब से mechanical tension होगा या तो नहीं होगा
No,
और
that's
एक
not what I
atrophy हो
said.
जाएगा. That's what you were trying
That's
to
not what I
say.
said. What I
ठीक है,
was
आप
trying to
बताओ
say is a
आपको
muscle
क्या
fiber
बोलना है.
on an
I will
all or
listen
none
to your
principle.
answer.
If a muscle fiber is recruited, let's say, वो muscle fiber maximally contract करेगा. हाँ
नहीं,
हाँ कि नहीं?
all on none principle से तो नहीं
अभी we'll
ना.
Google. We will Google today itself. We will Google now.
See, maximally loaded या maximally contract. And of course, at different lengths, some fibers will maximally contract and some will not contract that much.
Are you sure?
See, when you're training an exercise doing lengthen position, does there your muscle contract fully? Yeah, it responds. It's not about the length. We are not talking about the length here. Yeah, yeah, it will generate contraction, but what about maximum
Thank
contraction?
you.
You talked maximum contraction. You said maximum
That's what
contraction.
it says यहाँ पे.
See, again, contraction and maximum contraction, different things. You know, right?
Shana, we are back with the same thing.
See, having activation
It will respond
is
completely or it will
response
not
is
respond at all.
different. I agree with now. Let me just clarify my point. Just getting a response doesn't mean it will start maximum contractions, right? If we train a muscle in
We're back
lengthened
again.
position, does it
You
contract
said, okay, hold on. Sorry. You
maximally?
said if a response we'll get, when we get a response, either it's completely responding or it's not responding at all.
At all, and response is different and length is different. You're confusing things. Okay, let's be clear with this. I'm trying to make you understand some concepts based on practical applications. Okay, because you're just going to Google stuff and you're going to find something. Response is different, lengths
No,
are
man,
different.
I just Googled a principle, nothing
So
else.
do you mean response and maximum contraction are the same thing? Because you said maximum contraction.
What is the response?
Response is the
What
fiber
happens at
getting
tetanus?
activated.
What's a tetanus?
Oh my God, listen.
What is tetanus?
Just give me a simple answer, Raghu, please. One simple answer. When
What
you
is
do an
tetanus?
exercise, when you do an exercise where the muscle is getting trained at a lengthened position, okay? You're
Lengthen
not going
position. Where is this coming from now?
Okay, let's compare preacher curls with incline bench bicep curls. Let's compare. The contraction is same. No, I'm asking
Okay.
you a question. Please don't laugh. I'm asking you a simple question. Just say yes or no. That's it. Are the contractions same?
The problem is, Shania, the reason I laughed, the reason I
One thing.
laughed,
Just stop googling stuff and listen to me and answer basic questions. Basic, okay? Don't Google stuff.
listen,
Don't Google
I'm not,
stuff. Let's get the basic concept clear. उसके बाद जितना आपको study side करना आप करो मुझे दिक्कत नहीं है. बस basic concepts तो clarify होने चाहिए ना, right?
नहीं, listen,
अभी
listen.
हमको basics ही
भाई,
नहीं पता
भाई,
and we are
Shania.
going and finding researches तो कैसे काम
Okay, that
चले?
is a wild thing to say. What did you just say again? I do
If you
what?
don't know the basics and you're going and jumping onto the researches and everything, how are you going to interpret the data if you don't
The
even know the
problem
basic
is,
concept?
Shania, you don't know what a costomer is.
You don't know what an FAK is.
So again, that's what we are saying. We are both
Do you know
coming
what an
from a different
FAK
point.
is?
Again,
I
that's what I'm
mentioned the
saying.
full form also.
We are talking about exactly what I'm talking about is something else, and what you're talking about is something else. We are largely
No,
coming
no,
from the
no, no,
point
no,
of the
no.
for.
Maybe we have difference of opinions, but I am sure of what I have studied. Okay, and FAK is the thing that senses mechanical tension. Okay, now you mentioned costomer. I'll study about it, but I'm sure FAK is the one that detects mechanical tension of muscle. Okay, so we have
Uh,
difference of opinion. Now, don't say that you don't know this, you don't know that. We are not doing that.
okay,
We
so
are
exactly.
getting the basic concepts cleared. Okay, let's not use Google
Listen,
for that.
listen, listen. We are not using Google for that. The reason I told you that
So let's
was
just
because you
face to
just
face.
accused me of not
Let's
knowing basic
see.
concepts.
You
This
can
is
you
not
can
what I'm
find
here
data.
trying to say, right? What I'm
sorry.
trying to say, मैं तेरे को क्या बोल रहा हूँ कब से?
Hmm.
What I'm saying, मैं बोल रहा हूँ, don't tell me shit like भाई तेरे को basic concepts नहीं आते. That's not a
No,
whole thing
I'm
which I'm here
saying let's
trying to
get
say.
the basic concepts clarified क्योंकि वही नहीं पता होगा ना ऑडियंस को तो स्टडी साइड करने का क्या फायदा है या हमें भी नहीं पता मुझे भी नहीं पता तुम्हें भी नहीं पता सो क्या फायदा स्टडी साइड करने का राइट सो लेट्स गेट द
Yeah.
बेसिक कंसेप्ट क्लैरिफाइड उसके बाद जितना स्टडी साइड करना हम करेंगे दैट्स द ओनली पॉइंट आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक ओके
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Samir.
let's stop doing Google. You can use
You
Google and
just
all.
told
If
again,
you get a
again. The
confusion,
reason I
but
googled. Hold on. The reason I googled was
you
because
can prove
there
me
was
a point,
largely,
right?
yeah, exactly, and now that's
Okay,
nothing else. And I
that's
don't really,
okay.
I don't plan on
I
doing that
completely
anymore.
get it. And that's what I'm saying. See, the word respond is given there, okay? That is what I'm trying to make you understand. Respond is given there. Respond and maximum contraction are two different things, okay? Now I'll give you a real life example. Preacher curls and incline bench bicep curls. In one, the muscle shortens. In the other, it mostly trains in a lengthened position. So the level of contractions are different. Even at fiber level, more fiber are contracting the preacher curl compared to an inclined bench bicep curl, right? So it does not mean that the muscle is not activated.
Guess
In
what?
both in both exercises, the biceps are activated, but they're contracting differently. So activation does not mean कि आपका muscle is going to contract fully. Okay, that's where you are wrong. You told me कि muscle activate होगा तो contract होगा ही होगा. Now to
That's what
some
the
level it
principle
will, but
says.
maximal contraction नहीं होगा.
We're back square one.
See, because you see हम basic concepts पे बात करते हैं ना आपको कौन कौन सी चीजों की
This is
दिक्कत है
a
और मैं
basic
बताऊंगी कि
concept.
वो चीजें मैंने क्यों बोली आई कैन एक्सप्लेन यू व्हाट माय बेसिक कंसेप्ट्स के ऊपर मैंने सारा अपना डेरिवेशंस बनाया है या अपना प्रोग्राम बनाया है वी कैन डू दैट नो आपने ऑल और नन प्रिंसिपल को गलत
Okay. I think
समझा
no, no, no. I think I explained it to you properly as well. I
आपने
am.
ऑल और
We're
नन
putting.
प्रिंसिपल को मैकेनिकल टेंशन से रिलेट कर दिया बोथ आर
That's
डिफरेंट
not.
थिंग्स
I'm
तो ये
telling
सब
you.
आप कर रहे हो ना मैंने तो
Excuse
नहीं
me.
बोला
Excuse me. When did I say that when a muscle fiber is recruited, it experiences highest amount of mechanical? That's not what I said. I
तो
said
यू
when a muscle
ट्राइंग टू
fiber is
इम्प्लाई
there,
ऑल और नन प्रिंसिपल नो व्हाई
that is what you are putting your my words in your mouth. That's not what मैं
ओके मे
मेरे
बी आई
एक word, yeah,
मे
मेरे
बी आई
words
एम
तो
मे
you
बी आई
don't
एम
try
ओके
to change and everything, bro.
maybe
That's not what
maybe
I'm saying
maybe I
anything.
am maybe I am
Yeah,
doing
so don't tell me
so
this
tell me
shit
what do
like
you
bro
mean
कि भाई.
आप बता दो कि आपका क्या point है and why am I wrong
Okay, let's
let's
clear
do
the
that
whole slate. Okay,
hmm.
and let's go back to the basics which you want to talk about, right? Right. So exactly when we are talking about basics, what are you exactly trying to imply?
I'm trying to imply
So that
with
see, मेरे को I see मेरे को कैसा है? I need to understand your whole point of view so I can see where you're coming from. यहाँ पे what is happening is I think it's too much this is happening and I'm not really able to understand what you're saying. So let's understand from the start what is your point of. So this is let's say your point. Just keep your table fully on point. Then we can start talking about that. Okay?
ठीक है my point is basically why do we need two different exercises with different resistance profiles it's because at different lengths a fiber experiences different level of mechanical tension एक particular resistance profile if we take one particular resistance profile some fibers will get maximally loaded and reach failure in simple words and some fibers will not all the fibers will be activated I think that was the confusion. All the
Yeah,
fibers will be activated, but
repeat that. Your
some
voice
will
cut out.
be
Your voice cut out.
okay. So when we train in a particular resistance profile, okay,
Okay, let me write that down. Let me write that down. Sorry. I'm not writing it on anywhere else or GPT. I'm just going to show it to you as well. It's a
I don't
notepad.
need to see. I trust you. Come on, go on.
Oh, wow. That's nice. क्या बोल रहे थे?
Huh. When we train in a particular resistance profile,
हाँ.
some fibers will get maximally loaded and reach failure, and some won't.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Maximally
most of the
loaded
fibers will be
and some
activated,
won't.
but some most of the fibers will be activated, but some will reach mechanical tension failure, and some won't.
What determines mechanical tension failure? Yeah.
See, that depends on the strain.
Huh? What determines
That
that?
depends on the strain. The basically the fibers are not able to contract anymore.
Okay, and what determines that? Like,
The fiber is
what is
not.
determining the level of mechanical tension?
That depends on your peripheral fatigue and your metabolic fatigue, systematic fatigue. जितना ज़्यादा peripheral fatigue होगा उतना closer जाओगे mechanical failure tension, वो जो भी if you call it failure basically.
I'm sorry. You so mechanical tension is
Okay,
determined by peripheral fatigue.
not just that, also metabolic fatigue. What do you think? Mechanical tension, how is it determined?
No, I'm see. मैं तो यहाँ पे लिख रहा हूँ.
नहीं, आप
So
अपना
your point.
ओपिनियन भी बताओ ना, मैं तो अपने ओपिनियन सबसे शेयर कर रही हूँ, आप भी
अरे
थोड़ा
the
बताओ.
problem is, see Sana, the problem is, अगर मैं आपसे बात करूँगा और you talk to me, problem क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे is again that's we come back to the same point, and the point is that कि एक दूसरे से झगड़ा हो रहा. मेरे को नहीं चाहिए झगड़ा. I want to have a civil conversation with you and just understand your point. Right?
तो
मेरे को
you
आपका पूरा
agree with
point
it or
समझ.
not कि peripheral fatigue बढ़ता है तो mechanical tension जो sense होता है fibers को.
I don't really have an opinion on that right now, but
So
I
what do
need to
you
know
think
your.
causes mechanical tension? What do you think causes failure?
Okay. Then we go back to the force velocity relationship. But
See, you're not answering my question, and this is
I
happening
just
for
told you the
the
force.
first time here.
Is it? If I explain it to you, you might not really
This is
understand
the
what I'm
problem.
saying.
You think I am not that. See, this is the problem. Why are you making assumptions? I'm trying
If
to
I tell
explain
you,
to you
I
every
just told
concept in
you
the
is the
most
force
simplest
velocity
word possible,
relationship.
right? You can also do that. Explain to
I
me
just
in
told
simple
you
words.
is the force velocity relationship which determines the level of mechanical tension, right?
See, in the force velocity relationship, you know about the graph.
Yeah,
You know about how it's made.
yeah.
You know the force is made
Uh,
constant and the velocity is
Sorry.
made constant, constantly increasing, constantly decreasing.
Sure. आगे बोलो.
Does
What
that
is the
happen in
point?
real life?
Yeah. You want to see?
So the force in the force velocity graph, it's ideally taken to be increasing constantly. In real life, that won't happen. The
You want to see?
resistance profiles are different. The moment arms are different. The internal moment arms are different.
You want to
So
see?
what I want to see, I'm just stating facts.
Are you sure?
Just show me what
Okay.
you want to show me. Okay.
What's
And
this?
just a second,
What's
my
this? It's
screen is
gonna be,
getting discharged.
which is
You
आराम
you
से आराम
can
से.
you can just find whatever you're trying to show me. I'll
No, no.
just get
Okay.
discharged.
Ah. Mm. Bro, holy shit. Oof, that is mentally draining, bro. Is she back? I don't think so. Yo, chat. By the meantime, she's back. By the time she's back, you guys can talk. What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? What's up? Oh, she's back. Oh, no, never mind. She's not back. I don't think I see it. What's up, everyone? How are you guys? Is she back? I don't think she's back. Not yet. Let's resume the music, bro. तब तक by the time she's back. Oh, she's back. Oh, can you see me?
Hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, what were we saying?
You were showing me the force velocity in light.
Yeah. So what I was talking about was mechanical tension. What determines mechanical tension? That is again force velocity relationship, right? So we have different amount of muscle fibers. So as we talked about the atrophy study, right? We talked about immobilization. The reason we see a rate of immobilization is because of that वो जो specific muscle है at that given point of time, उनके सारे motor units of that given muscle fiber of the given muscle is not now working anymore, and that's why we see atrophy. Correct? Now, when we start walking, my question to you is, when we start walking, do you think we see muscle growth when the immobilization period ends?
Can you repeat that?
When we start walking,
I got it later part.
do you think that causes muscle growth in the immobilization limb?
In the immobilization limb,
Hmm.
immobilized limb.
वो उससे
After
कांच से बाहर निकाल दिया उसके पैर को और वो चल रहा है अभी. Do you think
we
that
will
will
see
cause muscle growth?
hypertrophy. We
Yeah,
will see hypertrophy.
because that stimulus is determined by what? Me lifting, let's say my forearm, ठीक है? My forearm, ठीक है? मेरा मेरा हाथ टूट गया, ठीक है? Me lifting this glass up and down.
I got it. Now, can
Yeah,
I ask one question? Just one, because we are circling
बोलो.
back again. Why are we comparing just a change in resistance profile to something as extreme as immobilization? I don't
I'm
get
not
that. Can
comparing
you
them.
please explain?
I'm not comparing them. I'm explaining you mechanical tension, which you were talking
Im,
about peripheral fatigue and metabolic stress.
you want, ठीक है, peripheral fatigue and metabolic stress को हटाते हैं. You want to talk about mechanical failure in terms of force velocity graph.
You said mechanical tension is determined by peripheral fatigue and metabolic stress.
Of
That's what
course
I
it
was
is.
talking about.
Of course.
Right. Okay. You think, man, this is. So I think it's determined by the force velocity relationship. But see, what I'm seeing here is that we are coming from a different point of view, right? You might
ठीक,
not really
okay,
want,
how is
yeah.
that relevant? Just let me know this because we are
You were
going
the
on.
one talking about it, bro. You said यहाँ पे
I talked about
when we train a
mechanical
particular,
tension. I talked about
yeah. So
mechanical tension.
तो मैं भी
And when
उसकी
the
बारे में ही
fiber
बात कर रहा
increases,
हूँ.
हाँ, तो when the you know mechanical tension ना, आपको पता है mechanical tension
तो
fiber experience करता है, growth के लिए stimulate होता है.
मैंने आपको
And
पूछा कि what causes mechanical tension, and you said peripheral fatigue.
it does when it increases, yes.
Are you sure peripheral fatigue and metabolic stress causes
See,
muscle growth?
see, why do you think the velocity decreases? You know the force velocity
Yeah,
graph, right?
obviously because
Why
of
the
the.
velocity
Yeah,
decreases?
it's because of fatigue mechanisms. You're right, but it's. I would not go ahead and say that the fatigue mechanisms are what causes. Do you think we are seeing
ठीक है,
peripheral
okay,
fatigue by
ठीक है,
walking?
ठीक है, ठीक है, okay. It's like I want to talk about the fatigue mechanism. You want to talk about the graph, ठीक है? But we both know mechanical tension failure exists, right?
Mechanical tension failure,
A fiber gets maximally stimulated, okay?
according to
Maximally
the
loaded
force.
and stimulated for hypertrophy. Let's call it that, whatever you want to call it. Or you tell me what
Okay.
you want to call it.
So you think we reach failure because our muscles are not able to produce force?
Those muscle fibers, yes.
Okay. आगे बोलो. So coming back to your point, you said when we are training a particular muscle group, some of the fibers are maximally loaded and some of them are not loaded. So that is what I was trying to understand was what was your point on for the cable lateral raises and dumbbell lateral raises?
Yeah. Okay. Now we are jumping into the real topic. So
Yeah,
basically,
hello.
when the resistance profile changes, The fibers
Uh-huh.
which were not maximally loaded before, some of the fibers of the muscle, are now getting maximally loaded, and vice versa is happening. And I get your doubt. You feel that some of the fibers which are not experiencing enough tension due to change of the exercise,
एक
they
सेकंड
might.
slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down.
You're
You said when
talking about atrophy,
but
right?
लिख
I'm
रहा
just
हूँ बाबा
getting.
मैं स्पीड मैं टाइपराइटर नहीं हूँ भाई रुको
आप लिख रहे हो?
uh,
अच्छा, ठीक है, लिखो.
when
बट इतना
muscle when
आप
fibers
मेरी बात सुन लो ना, मतलब ऐसा भी कुछ. वी आर रिकॉर्डिंग दिस वीडियो, राइट? वी कैन
हाँ
सी
but मेरे को
लेटर.
so it helps me retrace back to what you're saying right I get off topic pretty
Of
easily
course, of
yeah
course, all
तो बोलो
the things we said on the live videos.
yeah so when fibers are not maximally loaded before like you said some when we change the resistance profile some fibers are not maximally loaded before and now are maximally loaded.
Were not were not maximally loaded, which were not maximally loaded before are now maximally loaded. Can get.
Okay.
See, some of the fibers will be there which are not maximally loaded before, are
Mhm.
now getting maximally loaded.
Okay. And that's the
And,
case.
and we'll see better hypertrophy in those fibers.
And what about the ones which are now not being maximally loaded?
Sorry.
And what about the ones which are now not being maximally loaded?
Yeah. So they might not experience as much as hypertrophy, which the
But
other fibers are experiencing, but they'll still be activated and they are not going to atrophy.
yeah, no, that's a pretty good point to make, man. And you said like, okay, so this
Also,
is your point. So
another point, another question which I found valid. Can we talk about that? Or if you want to talk about something, we can do that.
when we train to particular, okay, so यहाँ पे मैंने सब लिख के रखा है. So this is the whole point which you have. When we train in a particular resistance profile, some fibers will get maximally loaded and some won't. When resistance profile changes and when fibers are the fibers which were not maximally loaded before and are now maximally loaded now are going to experience
More
better
hypertrophy.
hypertrophy, better hypertrophy, and the one which are not loaded now will just remain where they are.
Might experience some level of hypertrophy, might remain where they are, depending on the level of mechanical tension. Every fiber will feel like there's like some fibers will feel a different level of mechanical tension, some will feel different. It's very non-uniform. Okay, so the point, coming to your question again,
Again,
some will
the thing
feel
is,
some will get hypertrophy, some will get lesser hypertrophy because they'll be stimulated less, and some will stay where they are, but no atrophy.
no atrophy.
No atrophy.
Man, you're right. Right? So they will not lose their size, is what you're saying. So what happens in that one? What happens with the study which we have about retraining, where we see a high
Because
threshold
you are
recruitment?
stopping, see, immobilization.
Immobilization की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, retraining की बात कर रहा हूँ.
इमोबिल नहीं समझ में आया ना. इमोबिलाइजेशन से पूरा मसल जो है हमारा बिना ट्रेनिंग के उतना भी चला जाता है, सब चला जाता है. इफ यू
Yeah.
डोंट यूज समथिंग इट विल गो.
So now, but
सो
the thing
डीप
is, यहाँ
ट्रेनिंग.
पे,
गेटिंग
okay,
गेटिंग
got it.
लेट मी कंप्लीट,
Yeah, yeah, बोलो बोलो
आपका
बोलो
क्वेश्चन ही आंसर कर रही हूँ मैं. डीप
बोलो.
ट्रेनिंग में हम मसल को बिल्कुल यूज नहीं करते हैं, एंड रेजिस्टेंस प्रोफाइल चेंज होने पे मसल यूज होता है, बहुत सारे फाइबर्स एक्टिवेट होते हैं, मोस्ट ऑफ द
Okay.
फाइबर्स एक्टिवेट होते हैं, राइट? सो
Do you
इफ अ
know what
फाइबर
voluntary
is
activation
activated,
deficit?
it won't atrophy.
Do you know what a voluntary activation deficit is?
I know it's easier
Okay.
to activate some muscles. It's a little difficult to activate some muscles, like glutes and all have more voluntary deficit.
Activation deficit, right? Do you think
Voluntary
side delts
activation.
have a voluntary activation deficit?
Sorry, side delts.
Yeah. Do you think side delts have a voluntary activation deficit?
I think it has pretty good voluntary activation deficit.
So if it has voluntary activation deficit, do you think changing exercises will not
Yes.
really cause an
Yes,
issue
yes.
because we
It
see
it might, the difference might not be a lot. I agree. Glutes may it's more important to change the exercises than lateral deltoids, but it ऐसा नहीं है कि you won't see any changes or betterment. You will get some benefit.
again
Comparatively,
Shana,
glutes will
see the thing is I get your
comparatively
point. I get your point.
no,
See, I get where you're coming from as well. You know, you might see a different level of
you might
activation
see
as well.
some differences.
Yep.
Of
But
course,
the problem here is that, again, coming back to the point here is 3 महीने में बार बार change करना doesn't seem reasonable, like especially for me
see, it's
as a
your,
coach.
I get it. It's your
Yeah. So
opinion. Reasonable
it's
ठीक
not
है. आप
opinion.
बस
It's not.
अपने
It's not opinion. See, the thing is, if I can do one set of shoulder press, one set of lateral raise cable, one set of cable dumbbell lateral raise, why would I 3 महीने में बार बार change करूँ?
इतना सारा एक्सरसाइज करोगे तो थोड़ा ओवर ट्रेनिंग का
एक एक सेट,
चांसेस भी है.
3
एक-एक
sets.
सेट आप करो. मेरा वो रिकमेंडेशन नहीं होगा कि आप एक-एक सेट करो. मेरा रिकमेंडेशन अलग है, बट आप करो. There's
You
nothing wrong
think
with
three
it.
sets will overtrain
Now,
someone?
9 sets will. Anyway,
कौन कर रहा 9 sets?
आप 3 एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हो. Ideally, you do 3 sets.
No, we don't do 3 sets here, bro. Who's doing 3 sets?
I don't know your program. I don't know how many sets you're doing.
Okay. So if we can get maximal amount of recruitment, as you said, यहाँ पे, with differential exercise variants, and we can use different level of exercises and get good growth, why not do one set of each and get same like overall growth,
You,
very well growth?
you can do that. You can do that. आपका preference है वो. Tell me what's wrong with my preference.
That it's inherently causing some issues, right? And the issue is the fact
What
that
is the
one thing
issue?
I just told you, we have this like एक level of growth नहीं हो रही है, right? Some
न्यूरल
fibers are,
अडेप्टेशन के लिए आप बोल रहे हो कि एक हफ्ता लॉस हो सकता है, राइट?
no,
आई गेट दैट.
okay. Abhi, I'm gonna send you a more data. It's not just 1 week. It's not just 1 week which we are looking into, right?
सी
It's coordination ka 1 week which is gone. Okay?
सी
Then
आई
motor
होप योर
unit recruitment.
एक्सरसाइज इज आल्सो लैटरल रेजेस, क्योंकि आप कोई बड़ा
We
एक्सरसाइज
don't have
बोलोगे.
any. We don't have any data on that. And what
सी
you're
यू
saying
कैन
here,
नॉट कंपेयर lateral raises with compound movements. You cannot do that.
I'm not doing that. I'm showing
ठीक
you
है, तो
that
डेटा इज
exercise change.
इररिलेवेंट इन द डिस्कशन. नो,
It's
स्क्वाट्स का
it's
डेटा
it's
इज
relevant.
इररिलेवेंट
How is I'll tell you exactly why it's relevant, because
बिकॉज
what we are doing is
न्यूरल
we're changing
अडेप्टेशन
the task.
हैपन.
What we are
Yes,
doing here is
yes,
now,
yes,
as you said,
but
are we
depends
not
कि
changing the
कितना
task?
चेंज हुआ है. या
Are we
100%.
changing the task? Yes or no?
कितना चेंज हुआ है?
Are we going from doing two dumbbells to doing one cable is a change. Isn't it a
Yeah,
change?
yeah, it is a change, but is it
Yeah?
as big of a change as leg extensions and squats?
No, but again, it is a change, right?
No, it will take less time. It will take time, I agree, but less
Any
time.
data which you have to support that. I have
See,
data which I'm showing
you
you that.
agreed to me that
I
it's
just agree to
different,
you.
right?
I'm not agreeing.
हमेशा
See,
like
Shana,
we
I'm,
have
we
common
are,
sense.
मैं theory based
कुछ
lifter नहीं हूँ,
चीजें बिना
Shana.
डेटा के भी तो समझ में आता
बिना,
है, right? Like
I don't work
practical
without data,
experience
Shana.
से you tell me कि
I don't work
leg
without data, Shana.
extension squats में जो difference है, क्या lateral raises का सिर्फ cable and dumbbell का changes में उतना difference हो सकता है? Just from a practical
Again, we are doing
experience
two
of it.
dumbbells to one dumbbell now.
It's not a dumbbell, it's a
Sorry,
cable.
it's cable. Yeah, sorry, my bad. It's
Yeah.
going from
So,
two dumbbells to one cable. It is going to be a change. I'm not saying the change is going to be large. It is going to be there. Like one
and
week of
that's why I'm
coordination
saying the
adaptation,
time difference is not going to be large. It's going to be small.
two
Small
weeks.
change, small
Can we
time
agree?
for adaptation.
Two,
Huge
three
change,
weeks.
more time for adaptation. Isn't that the simple basic principle? Like everybody
I
knows that.
just,
You don't need
I
data for that.
just, we do need it. Again, Sana, okay, there is a difference between you and me. And the difference is I
ठीक है,
work more with data. And
ठीक है,
that is fair.
you
That is
just tell
that
me
is your
this.
point of view.
You
And
just
I'm
tell me
showing you
this.
data. तुमने पूरे
See,
लाइफ में एक चीज दी नहीं मुझे, and that is data.
मैं नई डेटा रेफर करूंगी बिकॉज डेटा रेफर करना कोई भी कर सकता है. I will come
Okay,
here.
then
I
you
didn't
can.
use Google.
Then I
I
think,
didn't use
Sana.
any data. You're talking about
Then I
theory
think
because you're also science based. No, you're not theory. I know
I'm not
theory.
theory based. I'm not theory based, Sanaya.
Theory is
I am not
science.
theory based.
Theory is science.
You
Theory is
can be theory
science.
based. You know
And
what?
I'm
Also, theory based
reading
says. I'll tell you one
Raghu,
thing. Now, if you're gonna be going about, okay, if you're gonna be going about theory based things, we need to do 45 sets of
why?
whole body, because every single exercise is going to cause differential amount of growth. We need one bicep curl variant, we need one reverse curl variant, we need one recline curl variant, we need one pec fly, we need one shoulder extension movement, we need one shoulder flexion movement, we need one shoulder press, we need one lateral raise, we need one cable lateral raise, we need one shrugging upwards, we need one retraction once, we need one wide grip row. I mean, I can go on. We need one external rotation exercise, we need some internal rotation exercise, we need some plantar flexion exercise. Now, does that become practical when we talk about theory? It doesn't. Because it doesn't. At the end of the day,
45
theory
दो
can
चीजें
only
कैसे
take you,
कंपेयर कर रहे हो? नहीं, 45 अलग एक्सरसाइजेस एक जगह और दो एक्सरसाइजेस एक जगह, द डिफरेंस इज लाइक ह्यूज,
as you
राइट?
said,
नॉट द
theory. We
सेम
have
थिंग.
theory on that as well.
जितना हो सकता है उतना करते हैं हम लोग, राइट?
Again, theory
सिर्फ
taking to your
45
point
नहीं
is
हो
okay.
सकता है, बट जितना
But
हो
when we
सकता है
go
उतना
towards
तो करेंगे
extreme,
ना.
it's not okay. That's weird.
Why is it extreme?
I just told you, do train your internal and external rotations, bro. अलग से.
See,
Will you do
rotator cuff
that? No, you
exercises
won't
तो
do
लोग
that.
करते हैं to strengthen them. I also
No
do
one's
it.
doing that. कोई नहीं करता. ठीक
I
है.
do it. I have
Train
a
super. Do
shoulder
you train
mobility problem,
supinations?
hence I
Do you
do it.
train supinations? Do you train supinations? Do you train
Supination of
this?
what? My
Do you,
forearm?
do you train this? Do you
I
train
do that. I
specifically
do
this?
planche. I have to practice for planche. तो उस केस में मैं करती हूँ. That's about me. Individual preference. मैं नहीं बोल
Okay.
रही हूँ करना चाहिए.
सबको करना नहीं चाहिए ना. प्रॉब्लम वही आती है ना. At the
Depends.
end, we
अगर
are
आपको
making
forearm
program
लोग
for
करना है
someone,
तो
not
आप
for
करो.
Shania.
See, the only thing is कि overtraining हो जाती है और उतना टाइम नहीं है किसी के पास.
Overtraining, no
अगर
one's
ये
getting
दोनों
overtrained.
and the thing is कि सिर्फ lateral deltoids को मैंने इसीलिए, sorry, you continue.
Okay. So coming back to the point, right? When we apply this to the practicality part, right? See, you, as we established, are using more theory. Me, I'm using more practicality and pro data outcomes.
Practical data is just 8 weeks long and hypertrophy takes years.
Are
So
you sure?
hypertrophy growth, significant growth
I
takes
have
years.
studies showing you hypertrophy data, and
But
you're
see, let's not talk about the, ठीक है, आप डेटा का
well,
बात
let's,
कर रहे हो.
bro. If we are not
पहले
talking about data, what are we
do the
talking about
same
here,
thing ना,
bro?
थोड़ा थ्योरी बेस्ड बातें कर लेते हैं, डेटा बाद में इन्फर कर लेंगे. डेटा
But
इज नॉट
bro, we need that,
ऑलवेज
bro.
रॉन्ग. नाउ
Theory के लिए we need data. थियरी कहाँ
but
से आ
the
रही है? ये पानी
data
में क्या,
you're
इसमें क्या है
showing
ब्रो? इसमें क्या है?
100%.
इसको देखने के लिए भी
But
हमें
the problem
डेटा
is,
लगी थी ना ब्रो.
the problem here is, आपकी भी गलती नहीं है. We don't have data of the same exact situation. You're comparing squat and leg extension वाला data to lateral raises. Both lateral raises just cable and dumbbell lateral raises. इतना ही difference है.
नो
And वहाँ
मैं
कितना huge
तुम
difference है. तो आप same
you're
data
red
कैसे
hearing
apply
that,
कर
bro.
सकते
You're
हो?
red hearing that. That's a fallacy which you're using for I don't know how long.
Do you have
Now
any
listen,
data जो
I
lateral
just
raises
showed
के
you
do
data.
dumbbell and cable comparison?
Sana, for me, I'm showing you the data not because कि मेरे को दिखाना है कि ये lateral leg extension में ऐसा. I'm showing you the data to show you that there is a specific mechanism which exists which is doing that, right? And you also agree that there is one. And what you're doing is you think ये सारे mechanisms दो session में खत्म हो जाएंगे, which
See,
that's not happening.
in the
दो
ideal
session में
case, I would like to apply all the mechanisms.
you are not in control of the mechanisms.
I would like to apply like a different
How are
range
you
of
doing that?
different load हो रहा है, tempo
You are
changes
like
है,
खुद से
जिसका
signal भेज रहे हो.
voluntary deficit ज्यादा है, उसका ज्यादा अलग अलग तरीके का एक्सरसाइज हो रहा है, ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है, सब प्रोग्रामिंग का तो एक बुक लिख सकते हैं हम, राइट? बट वी हैव टू चूज, वी हैव टू मेक अ जजमेंट कॉल. कौन से सिचुएशन में कौन सा चेंज करना है, राइट? जजमेंट कॉल होता है. दिस इज माई जजमेंट कॉल.
That is your opinion then, man.
Yes,
I
it
would say
is.
that's your opinion.
And there's
That's
nothing
not
wrong with
database.
it. And if it's anything
That
wrong with it,
is an
please let
opinion
me
then.
know. I want to know what's wrong with it, bus. That's why I've come on this.
That's that is an opinion.
See,
Now,
every coach has a different opinion. But I'm using scientific facts to support my opinion. Now, I want you to give me facts कि मेरा opinion किस case में गलत
I
है.
just showed you the data and you're not wanting to
What
see the
data?
data.
Squats का नहीं. We are not doing squats and
Regional
leg extension
hypertrophy
comparison.
differences, which I just showed you. Then there is a task familiarity
Hypertrophy
data, which I just showed
differences.
you. Then
Hypertrophy
there's motor
differences.
unit
Again, you
recruitment data, which
included
I
T
just showed you.
training. T training
And I
करने में
can even
नहीं
show you
बोला.
cost. I can
The
also
data
show
has
you
to be
lateral.
relevant, Raghu, right? It has to be
I just
relevant. The
showed
data
you
is
the
useful.
data.
Like
Again,
अगर
you want
अगर
to use
मुझे
again.
अगर
Agar
मुझे
Sana, if you want to
अगर
use the
मुझे डेटा
theory
किसी और
and
चीज से
theory is
चाहिए और मैं
only
कहीं और से
applicable
डेटा
when you
यूज कर
use
लूँ.
it. Okay, listen. When theory is only is theory only applicable when you use it? I'm literally showing you the theory specific mechanisms. I'm not telling you कि भाई
Which
ये देख और वो
mechanism?
देख.
Yeah,
मैं तेरे
yeah.
को
Which
दिखा रहा हूँ
theory
कि
specific mechanism?
I just
अब
showed you कब से क्या ही बोल रहा हूँ मैं.
हाँ, अब फिर से एक बार बोल दो आप.
I just showed you bro. देख 2 घंटे से क्या कर रहे हैं हम लोग.
हाँ, आप क्या दिखाए उस बताओ, आप
I
क्या
just
बताओ.
showed you initial 1 to 4 weeks of training of an hypertrophy training program. We
हम्म.
see that there is an increase in motor unit recruitment, but not maximal voluntary contraction. Maximal
Agreed.
voluntary contraction.
Agreed, but that's for
Then
squats.
4 weeks.
But that's for squats. That's what I'm trying to.
4 weeks for a
Squats.
squat, right? That is,
Squats and lateral
yeah.
raises are different exercises. Squats fatigue
So
you a lot,
do
but
you
lateral
have
raises
any
don't
data to
fatigue you
show
that much.
me that there is any difference with that? No, you don't. Right? So
तो अगर
if you want
डेटा
to
नहीं
deny my
है,
data,
अच्छा ओके 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 ओके
so
ओके
you
डेटा
gotta
नहीं है.
accept the fact that so
There's
you're making
absolutely
the whole
no,
you're making
there's
data up.
absolutely,
Listen,
there's
listen,
absolutely, let's
listen,
assume कि डेटा नहीं है. उसका मतलब क्या स्क्वाट्स और
listen,
lateral raises सेम हो
listen,
जाएंगे?
listen.
Same
What I'm
level of
saying here,
peak, same level of motor recruitment, same level of
you're
stimulation? No, right?
listen,
It's so
listen,
different.
listen,
We know that. Like, we don't need data
listen.
for that, Raghu.
We do
We
need
really
data for that.
don't. We
We,
don't. Why do we need data for that? I
see,
can
the
get
thing
data. Like you also know I can get data कि sports में ज़्यादा time लगेगा, adaptation में, lateral raises में कम
that
लगेगा.
is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we have a specific mechanism which exists. And you are saying those specific mechanisms will be done in 2 sessions. I need data showing
हाँ
that ki, I'm
हाँ
not
हो
saying lateral
जाएगा.
raise. कोई भी single joint
हो
data.
जाएगा. Yes.
अभी दो.
2 sessions में हो जाएगा.
2 sessions में we'll max out motor unit recruitment, we'll max out coordination adaptations, we'll max out lateral force transmission, we'll max out और क्या था? We'll max out these 3 adaptations in 2 sessions is what you're saying.
Yes. Lateral raises. Yes.
You know, Shania, what I just told you? That lateral force transmission is a type of mechanism which occurs with high, like specific muscle fibers, right? Abhi, this mechanism itself takes 3 months to make. And you said 2 session में हो जाएगा.
Lateral raises में mechanism generate करने में आपको 3 months लग रहा है. क्या mechanism है ये?
Lateral force transmission. You said
क्या
this
होता है
takes,
ये?
I'll say, even show you the study. It's PMID 240100829. यहाँ पे you see that the costomeres are known to increase after strength training program couple of months later, right? Now, you told me ये 2 session में हो जाएगा.
See, I told कि एक particular इंसान का जो potential होगा वो उस पे reach
So what
करेगा.
I'm sensing
Customer
here,
increase,
Sanaya,
customer
is
increase, एक second, customer increase जो है
this is
वो
an
हर
opinion of
case
yours.
में वो हर see, can you increase the rate of this customer increase by just doing dumbbell lateral raises? No, right? ये जो
Yeah,
rate of
no, we
cost,
can't. ये जो 3 महीने में हो रहा है, right? We see
are
it's
you
gonna
going to
happen in
lose
three
it if you
months
switch to cables? Are you
at
going to
the
lose
higher
it?
level of recruitment. Yeah,
No, you are not going to lose
it's
it.
fiber specific.
All the fibers
You,
are
if
getting
you,
activated.
there is a voluntary activation which you just accepted that side does have a voluntary activation deficit.
Yeah, so
You know what voluntary activation deficit is, Shana?
yeah, it's difficult to activate some muscles compared to others.
If there is a voluntary activation deficit, we have a task familiarity concept coming in. Do you not really think that in that given period of time when we have this task familiarity thing going in, ये जो 2 session में ये आ
I
जाएगा?
don't think it will take longer for lateral raises, especially if you're switching them every 3 months.
Man, I think that's an opinion
You
now.
are not going to lose adaptation in dumbbell lateral raises if you're doing cables.
You can do
थोड़ा सा
that.
होगा,
I think, Sana,
बहुत
you can
थोड़ा
do
सा
that.
होगा, बहुत थोड़ा सा होगा,
I think
and
you
that
can do
will
that,
be
Sana.
recovered in 1 to 2 sessions.
You can do that. I would say that. That
And
is your
and
opinion. You can do that.
and yeah, that is my opinion. And another question, addressing your another question, कि तीनों एक साथ क्यों नहीं कर लेते हैं वॉल्यूम सेम रख के, राइट? वॉल्यूम सेम है बट एक्सरसाइजेस अलग अलग है.
एक सेट कर रहा हूँ. One set of each.
हाँ,
करो.
जो भी आपको जो भी वॉल्यूम पसंद है. आई डोंट नो योर
So
फ्रीक्वेंसी,
what
तो
you are
आप जो
saying
भी
right
वॉल्यूम
now
देखिए.
here that this concept which you're saying is your opinion.
सी प्रोग्रामिंग कैसे करना है, क्या इंक्लूड करना है, क्या नहीं करना है, दैट इज ओपिनियटेड. Nothing is wrong with switching exercises. Dumbbell lateral raises का equipment every 3 months. Nothing is wrong with that. Neural adaptation wouldn't take that long of a time. बहुत ही
That's your
simple
opinion.
है. Okay, ठीक है.
That is your opinion.
You think it will
Because
take 3 months to adapt to dumbbell lateral raises?
no, I'm
Even
not
if
saying
it
that.
does for a beginner, that adaptation is going to go
I'm
nowhere
not
if you
saying
switch
that.
from dumbbells to
Again,
cables.
see, the kind of way which I
So
go
what
about
is
with
the
most of my
problem
clients,
with switching exercises? अभी भी मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है.
because
जैसे आपने
again,
जो
we
बोला वो भी
interrupt
आप
the
कर सकते
learning
हो.
pattern. We'll interrupt the learning pattern of a given exercise, is what I'm
What
saying.
learning होगा, बट वो बहुत जल्दी आप उससे एडजस्ट कर लोगे. इट्स
हाँ तो
नॉट
बार
कि
बार
हम
क्यों
उसके
चेंज करना है
कंपाउंड
एडजस्ट
लिफ्ट
करने के
को
लिए?
हटा के सिर्फ आइसोलेशन से रिप्लेस कर रहे हैं.
बार बार
लर्निंग
चेंज क्यों
पैटर्न
करना
won't
है?
be hampered that much.
बट बार बार चेंज ही क्यों करना है इतना? अडाप्ट इतना, अगर 2 सेशंस लग रहे हैं, एक हफ्ता
तो
लग रहा
हमें
है,
दो
तो वाई डू
ऑब्जर्वेशन
दैट?
प्रोफाइल हिट करना है।
हाँ, तो तीनों एक सेशन में करो।
ठीक है, आपका ओपिनियन है, मेरा ओपिनियन है 3 3 महीने पे करो, बिकॉज जब आप एक्सरसाइज हर
अगर
3 महीने पे चल
यू आर नॉट
करते
सेइंग
हो।
3 months exactly, then we have like उसमें से 3 weeks तो निकाल ही दो, बिकॉज वो तीन
अच्छा
महीने
हाँ
में।
ठीक है, लेट्स 11 वीक्स, ओके। जब
या
आप करते हो तो यू गेट
I think it's more than 11 weeks, but again, you're not gonna agree with me, even though even if
यू
I'm
टेल
showing
मी
you
व्हाट
data.
इट इज, आई विल मेक माई पॉइंट्स अराउंड दैट। मैंने
No,
वीडियो में
you will
3 weeks
make your
बताया।
opinion on that,
व्हाट इज द
right?
प्रॉब्लम हियर रघु? व्हाट किस चीज किस स्टेटमेंट से आपको प्रॉब्लम है, मैं उसको जस्टिफाई करती हूँ, आप बताओ।
I don't have a problem. Problem is you're giving me opinions, and I don't want opinion.
आई एम गिविंग यू थ्योरी, आप इस वीडियो को रिकॉर्ड
There is
करके
no
मेरी
theory.
हर स्टेटमेंट को जाकर क्रॉस वेरीफाई कर सकते हो, क्योंकि मैं
नहीं
ये
करना
कुछ
मेरे
भी
को,
अपने
मेरे को
दिमाग से
डेटा
नहीं
चाहिए.
पढ़ रही हूँ। इट्स नॉट माई जनरेटेड फ्रॉम हियर, इट इज व्हाट आई हैव रेड।
Show me what you read.
एंड यू वांट टू सी माय बुक्स, आई विल सेंड देम ओवर टू यू।
बुक्स नहीं चाहिए मेरे को डेटा चाहिए.
डेटा यार, डेटा आप स्क्वाट्स का
मेरे
लेके रखना, आप
मेरे
खुद
सी
बोल
एस सी एस के
लैटरल
बुक
का
में
डेटा नहीं है तो मैं डेटा कहाँ से
मेरे
लाऊं?
सी एस सी एस के बुक में मेरे सी एस के बुक में, you know what's written? For
यस,
older people, for old people,
या
we need about 15 to 20 sets per muscle group. Very old people. For schizophrenic people, for depressed people, or for people who are, very weak, we need 15 to 20 sets per muscle group.
हाउ इज दैट
Books right
रेलेवेंट टू द
now
टॉपिक वी
are
आर डिस्कसिंग
outdated.
राइट नाउ? हाउ इज दैट
Yeah, it
रेलेवेंट
is.
टू द
It
टॉपिक?
is. It is because we are talking about data and you're referring me to books, and those books are outdated. Show me data and I
It's
will
not
agree to that.
outdated. It's not outdated.
I
It's
just
not
showed you a point of view which shows me that it's outdated.
What point
You
of
really
view?
think
How
an
is that
old
even
person,
relevant
you
to
think
the
an old
discussion?
person in any clarity, you think an old person who's weak as fuck is going to do 15 to 20 sets per muscle group. Genuinely.
See, that really depends on the weight.
Holy shit.
In a week, they can do. एक वीक में 15 20 सेट का कोई उतना भी ज्यादा नहीं है। हाई वॉल्यूम ट्रेनिंग माइट बिकम अ लिटिल मेटाबॉलिक, बट आप वेट कम रखो ना।
Metabolic what? Man, again, that's your opinion. Right?
मेटाबॉलिक स्ट्रेस ज्यादा होगा जब इतना सेट्स आप
You
करोगे।
think metabolic stress causes growth?
सम व्हाट दे डू।
I think, Shania, we are pretty much done here, man. Because I don't think you're coming to a conclusion, and I don't think I'm gonna come to a conclusion which you have.
आई एम आस्किंग यू वन, एक सेंटेंस में
And
आप बताओ कि
I don't
आपको
think I
ये
want
डिबेट।
to continue this debate further because, again, I was here with the point of view that you are gonna show me data, and I have not yet seen
The
any
data
data.
I
And
can show you on DMs also, no? What is the point
the
of debate?
the point of a debate is to provide data and show data that the data exists. And I think we have failed to have that kind of conversation, and I don't want to proceed this
But what
conversation
about the
further because
scientific concepts?
I just showed you again. It's when we are talking about scientific concepts, we talk about data. Scientific concepts are made from data, and what you have
Yeah,
said to me so far
and
in this last 2 hours
not
of
just
live,
one
stop
research,
interrupting me.
not just one research, right? Every scientific concept have a ton of research behind them.
And तूने एक भी नहीं साइड किया मेरे को उसमें से.
तो एक साइड करने से क्या होगा? सिर्फ एक रिसर्च से कोई
अब तो तू
कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं
एक तो कर.
एस्टैब्लिश होती है।
मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ. द पॉइंट इज
किस
कि
चीज
यू
का
हैव.
डेटा चाहिए? किस चीज
भाई
का डेटा
सुन.
चाहिए?
होल्ड ऑन. लेट मी स्पीक. ठीक है. You have failed to give me any sorts of data in this last 2 hours of
But
life.
you have also failed
And
to give me any
भाई मेरे को
scientific
बोलने देगी.
explanation, any logical
I
argument
just
कि
showed you
मेरा
data.
एडवाइस गलत क्यों है।
आई जस्ट शोड यू डेटा और तू मेरे डेटा को गलत बोलेगी.
डेटा
तू सामने डेटा
डेटा
भी नहीं
डेटा
देगी.
आपने स्क्वाट्स का दिखाया ना। आप लैटरल रेजेस को
क्योंकि
स्क्वाट से कैसे कंपेयर कर रहे हो? दैट इज माय बेसिक क्वेश्चन हियर।
सो दैट्स योर. मैं
एंड
कंपेयर
आपने
नहीं कर रहा हूँ.
लिटरली डी
मैं
ट्रेनिंग का भी
कंपेयर.
डेटा साइट कर दिया। मैंने डी ट्रेनिंग करने थोड़ी बोला, जस्ट मेड अ स्मॉल चेंज इन रेजिस्टेंस
Because
प्रोफाइल एंड यू आर नॉट
you're not
कंपेयरिंग इट टू
seeing the
डी ट्रेनिंग।
intricacies of what I'm talking about, and I don't want to sit
इंट्रिकेसी
here and
कैसे? यू
give.
कैन नॉट कंपेयर डी ट्रेनिंग टू जस्ट चेंजिंग द इक्विपमेंट रघु, राइट? कुछ
Are you
ज्यादा हो
sure?
गया। डी ट्रेनिंग से कैसे कंपेयर कर दिया? और
You think if I just do a pec fly, let's say we do a pec fly and we do a press, right? We do a barbell bench press and we do a pec fly. You think they're gonna have same amount of recruitment?
depends on the load also, but more or less depending on the full range of motion, of course, presses are going to have more recruitment.
You think a single joint isolation exercise is going to have lesser recruitment than a bench press, which is a little unstable
Yeah,
exercise.
because you can lift a lot more weight on a bench press. There are
So,
other muscles helping you, but I'm assuming the form is right. The triceps are not helping a lot. The triceps can become a limiting factor, but
nice, that's
there
what I
will
was
be a
saying.
lot of load on the pecs. So yeah, it can lead to more motor unit recruitment compared to a pec fly, especially if the rep range is same.
I think you have won this
See,
debate.
रघु आप एक statement नहीं दे सकते हो ना, सारे circumstances भी आपको mention करने पड़ेंगे.
Again, see,
Like
Sana,
I'm doing.
I told you, I have given up like trying to explain things to you. मेरे को
Okay.
नहीं और explain करना है. Right, I have made my point pretty clear. I think there is a very large difference between what you are wanting to speak and what I am here to speak. I solely go on out data which is there,
Data
and
तो
I don't.
आपने That is right, Raghu. If we had lateral raises का data ना, वो side करना सही होता. But आपके पास नहीं है.
No, मैं वो नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. Again, आपको समझ नहीं आ रहा.
Irrelevant data आप
Is
नहीं ला
that
सकते हो. Detraining is irrelevant here. That irrelevant study you cited.
that is not
Squat
irrelevant?
lateral raises compare नहीं कर
It's
सकते. Very
still not
different
irrelevant.
movement.
Again,
Wrong study you cited.
मैं आगे
Squat
बोल रहा हूँ.
and that.
सुन, listen. If I'm
Yeah.
telling you, if I turn off this light switch, मेरी लाइट बंद हो जाती है. Is that irrelevant to saying कि ये लाइट भी बंद होती है? Is that irrelevant?
You're
It's
comparing
not.
squat. You're comparing
But
squat
I'm
leg,
comparing. No, I'm not comparing. I'm showing you a mechanism that ये
which
लाइट
is
बंद करने
different.
से
Which is
ये लाइट
different.
भी मतलब
And
you
you're
okay.
comparing neural
The
adaptations of squats to lateral raises. That is not
I'm
switch. Switch
showing
तब
you a
होता ना जब दोनों
mechanism.
same exercise नहीं
Mechanism
होता.
बता रहा हूँ तेरे को मैं. तेरे को mechanism नहीं understand करना. I have given up
क्या
on that.
mechanism है?
I just showed you there's a different level of motor unit recruitment adaptation which takes time. If there is that
Yeah.
present on a
It
squat,
will
there
take
is
more
also
time
that
in
present
squat and it
on
will take very less time in lateral raises, especially if you are switching every 3 months. It won't take that long to
the
adapt.
again. Again, that's your opinion.
ठीक है. Okay. I think we have established that then. We
Yeah,
let the audience decide.
you can let the audience decide. And again, if you're talk, I think you wanted to talk
एक one
about.
relevant argument, आपका एक relevant argument मुझे relevant लगा. I would like to answer just that. कि तीनों एक बार में क्यों नहीं कर लेते हैं? If different resistance profiles are
I
working.
think Shana, you have won this. You have won this. You
अच्छा,
can
you
keep that with you.
yeah,
ठीक है?
but एक question था आपका जो मैंने answer नहीं किया because आपने मौका नहीं दिया. So can I do that right now?
बोलो.
Okay, so you asked कि तीनों एक साथ क्यों नहीं कर सकते हैं volume same रख के, right?
बोलो. Overtraining होगा.
हो सकता है. नहीं, volume same है तो overtraining नहीं होगा. लेकिन
Okay.
why I told कि every 3 months पे switch करो, there's a concept called resensitization. So if you change a stimulus, you will see better cellular signaling, hypertrophy signaling, better signaling. That will lead to better mTOR and MAPK signaling, increasing your muscle protein synthesis. It will happen for a short amount of time, but again, if you're repeatedly doing that, it can be significant. If you're changing the exercise every 3 months slightly.
You're right. You're right on that. I don't want to agree on that. That's not something which I'm gonna agree with. That if you want to say that, you can do that. But that's not something which I
That
would.
is my answer to तीनों साथ में क्यों नहीं कर सकते definitely कर सकते हैं. Resensitization का benefit लेने के लिए आप 3 months पे change करोगे, you will see small
So we should
increment,
do
but
that
you
with
will
everything,
see.
ना?
Sorry.
So we should do that with everything. मतलब leg extension की जगह क्या करना फिर अभी?
सेम होना चाहिए ना, ज्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं क्रिएट कर सकते हो आप. लेग एक्सटेंशन का कौन सा एक्सरसाइज है जो बहुत ज्यादा मतलब डिफरेंट नहीं है, उससे सिर्फ रेजिस्टेंस प्रोफाइल चेंज हो रहा है.
So what do you do
बट
with leg extension when
फाइबर
you max out on leg extension? 3 महीना leg extension हो गया, अब क्या करना?
लेग एक्सटेंशन को यू डोंट हैव अ रिप्लेसमेंट, अगर होता तो डेफिनेटली 3 महीने करो आप.
So why are the quads still growing?
You can see a better growth if we had a alternative for leg extensions, but we don't.
You just said they get desensitized.
It They get desensitized. They will get desensitized.
Then
They
why are they
will
growing?
they will grow, but और ज्यादा फास्ट हो सकता था ग्रोथ. बट नहीं है
So
उसका वैसा कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री एक्सरसाइज जो
so you
बहुत.
think like,
See, we
are you
need
sure we have
same
CC
movement,
squats?
just a different resistance profile. जस्ट अ डिफरेंट रेजिस्टेंस।
We
अगर
have
आप दूसरा
CC
जिम ज्वाइन
squats.
कर लो, मे बी एक जगह कैंप है, मे बी एक जगह कैंप नहीं है, वो कर लो आप, यू विल सी
We
ग्रोथ।
have CC squats, by the way, so you can do that, right? So we
सीसी
should do
स्क्वाट
three.
कहाँ से आया डिस्कशन में?
I mean,
आई एम
resistance
सेइंग कि
profile change हो गया ना,
रेजिस्टेंस
bro.
प्रोफाइल को ऑल्टर करने के लिए एक बार आप वो बिना कैंप वाले मशीन पे करो, कैंप वाले पे करो। कैंप वाला का ऑफ कोर्स यूनिफॉर्म रेजिस्टेंस प्रोफाइल, अच्छा ग्रोथ, वेरी गुड, बट स्लाइटली डिफरेंट स्टिमुलस व्हेन द कैंप इज नॉट इंक्लूडेड। तो वो भी
Yeah,
आप ट्राई
bro.
करो time to time. So it will lead to a different kind of stimulation. It will lead to resensitization of cellular
Oh,
signaling.
right. Desensitization, right. And what about this thing? क्या बोलते हैं अपना calf raises?
Hmm.
What about calf raises? How do we do calf raises with the resensitization?
Half days with resensitization.
So,
So you
but
can
we've
do
seen good
that.
growth on. We have data on like calf raises showing that good growth on the lengthen
Your
position.
data doesn't include all the circumstances. If it did, तो फिर वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा acceptable और
We don't
अच्छा
have the Shania circumstance on here, bro.
क्या
Very true.
डेटा आपका काफ रेजर्स पे है?
We have data showing that calf raises grows more better in the lengthened position
In
because
London
they have.
position, yeah,
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 we
yeah.
and I
People
think we
have
have
been
seen
going
that as.
on and on about that, and yes, it
But
happens.
yeah. And
You,
what do we do when we see that by lengthened position में force ही नहीं मिल रहा है and top position? What we see also have data on showing that top position is not causing better growth but less growth
yeah.
compared to. So then what do we do now, Sana?
So you skip the top if you want. I would suggest कि थोड़ा बहुत आप top range भी
No, no,
use
no, no.
करो.
नहीं बॉटम पार्ट से ही मैं कर रहा हूँ. let's say बॉटम पार्ट से मैं काफ रेस कर रहा हूँ एंड भाई तूने वो रिसेंसिटाइजेशन पीरियड आ गया मेरा अभी मैं 3 महीना अभी क्या करूँ.
हाँ, तो फिर आप पहले डंबल्स या स्मिथ मशीन के साथ कर लो
How does that
काफी,
change anything?
एंड देन स्मिथ मशीन के साथ कर लो, एंड देन यू कैन डू इट ऑन द लेग प्रेस मशीन।
But wouldn't that be like what would that change rather? The resistance profile?
Won't change a lot because calves are connected to the Achilles tendon, and when the tendon is very long for a muscle, it doesn't
Mm.
contract or stretch that much. तो बहुत ज्यादा चेंजेस नहीं आएगा, बट येस इट विल बी बेनिफिशियल। यू कैन स्विच बिटवीन स्मिथ मशीन एंड लेग प्रेस में काफ रेजेस, यू कैन डू दैट
Mm.
डेफिनेटली।
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What about okay, yeah. So that's the resensitization. Very, very, very nice. I think that's a very new concept. I think we need to do a lot more research on that, on the resensitization period of mechanic, like muscle growth.
या
Pretty good concept. Okay. I think that's pretty much clear. I think you are right on your part about doing 3 months. But again, I wouldn't give my clients or anyone of
कंप्लीटली
my.
योर चॉइस, साइंटिफिकली कुछ गलत नहीं है, डेटा भी आपके पास अभी तो नहीं है, स्क्वाट्स और डे ट्रेनिंग का तो नहीं कंसिडर कर सकते। होता तो मैं मानती कि हाँ चलो
Yeah,
कुछ है,
you're
बट नहीं।
definitely right here. So, okay, I think we have established that you're right and I am wrong. And is there anything else you want?
नो,
ठीक
कैन
है,
यू जस्ट
चलो.
टेक द वीडियो इफ वी अपलोड इट ऑन यूट्यूब?
Sure, sure, bro. I mean, I'll do that.
Thank you so much. I'll
Sure.
send you the drive link. Just
Yeah, yeah,
upload the video over there.
yeah,
Thank you so much, Raghu. It was great having a conversation with you.
yeah. Bye bye. Holy shit. Let me just come back live on again.